Alright, alright, alright. I am waiting for people to filter in, but we should be good to go on this episode of Snug Bug Club with two amazing people. I have a feeling this is going to be a really good one, although I say that every time. Because everyone has always got such good perspectives. So I'll just give it a few minutes here just to let people filter in. I don't want to start before everyone's here. I also have a good crochet project this time around. I haven't started it, so it might go horribly wrong at the beginning because I think it's a little bit complicated, but I'm hopeful, you know. I think I'll do okay. Not sure why. Hmm. All right, let more people filter in. I always never know what to say at the beginning of the stream while I'm just waiting for people. Makes me feel awkward. I should probably just like put up a timer or something. That way I don't have to talk and people know that I'm still here. And that'll go live soon. But that's a problem for future me. I'll just wait for one person to talk in the chat. How about that? I know you're here. I know you're all watching. Yeah, I'll give it till 5 minutes. All right, all right, all right. So, I'm going to unmute in Discord now. All right. How are you doing, guys? Good. Mr. West is deafened, so I'm not sure if he can hear me. He might not realize that I've started here. Yeah, that is true. I mean, I didn't do anything when I started. Yeah. Yeah, that is unfortunate. Hello, Mr. West. Good, good. Oh, good to hear your voices. Outside of roleplay, even. Very strange. Yeah. Or am I, even? Yeah, I figured that much. I kind of guessed that. Yeah, you kind of give off the vibes. Yeah. All right. Well, how about you introduce yourselves to chat here? They're all dying to know who you are. Wait.
This
Oh
is
my god,
true.
I had you muted. Oh my
What?
gosh. No. I messed up.
Do it again.
Do it
Retake.
again.
Do
Retake.
again.
Hello. Oh no. That's awkward. Okay, okay. Hello, everyone. This is Snug Bug Club. I've got Orielis and Mr. West here. They're here. Say hello.
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 All right, now introduce yourselves to chat. I'm sure they're dying to know who you are.
I'm Orielis. I play Ursula on the No Pixel server along with Carby and West here. I am a long-term veteran of roleplay, though the the No Pixel roleplay is kind of newer to me, doing it like
Mm.
online in this capacity. So I only started that in 2021, but I have about 20
What?
years of like actual roleplay experience. So yeah,
Cool. We started around the same time. Mr. West has even more experience on the No
hmm
Pixel server.
that he
You
does.
were like early 2.0, right?
Uh, I wouldn't say that I was early 2 point. Well, let me introduce myself first.
Yeah.
I'm Mr. West. I play Kenneth Jesperson, also more known as Mr. Smiley, or at least he used to be more known as Mr. Smiley. I'm the guy whose serial killer investigations you hated having. Uh, and I had no experience in RP prior
Oh
to
god.
No Pixel, basically. That's not totally true, but we'll get into that in a little bit.
Yeah. Interesting, interesting. And you both just have those main characters you mostly play?
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
I played some secondary characters. One tertiary, I mean, related to Ursula, her twin sister, which is
Yeah.
part of her 3.0 story, but I haven't played her yet in 4.0.
Wasn't she a doctor?
Yeah, she was a doctor.
Yeah. I remember seeing her and I was like, is this just Ursula? I
Yeah, is
couldn't
this
tell.
another one of Ursula's alters? Yeah,
Yeah,
no, it's
yeah.
totally a fair question. But no, she was a separate character. She's actually Ursula's twin sister. One of the big mysteries throughout 3.0 with Ursula was who is Hela? Because
Ooh.
we had references to Hela in like in the early days of
Mm.
playing Ursula, and people were always wondering who is Hela. And I slowly revealed that story at the end of 3.0
That's
with
cool.
Hella, the twin sister.
That's cool. All right, we got to get more
Yeah,
into that later.
definitely.
Mr. West, have you ever played a different character or is it just
Um,
Kenneth?
there's Oberyn, which was the character I probably played the most outside of Kenneth, which is not much, but still like the most. But no,
Yeah.
I've actually played 3 characters on No Pixel. There was the first one was Robert Crabblesnitch the Fourth, who was intended to be my bully character. I don't know if anybody here has played bully, but it was
Mm.
kind of going down the same path as what I did with Smiley, like how I was taking like Rockstar lore and sort of
Yeah.
using it to kind of create a character of my own based on whatever little tidbits happened in the game. But my original character's name was Brian East. He was a 64-year-old guy with a southern drawl.
Hmm.
And is my internet going
No,
out?
no, I
No, it's
can. Yeah,
okay.
you're good.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, I was scared for a second.
You should be.
Yeah, I'm always
I
scared.
mean,
I'm
we're
scared
a
of
pretty
you.
scary trio here.
His
Yeah, we
name
really are.
his name was Brian East, who was a so my real name is the joke there is that my real name is Ryan West, so I just called him Brian East because I thought it was funny. Um,
I
And
like it.
aged him up by like 30 years.
yeah. He's basically me in 30 years. But no, it was like there was a whole intricate storyline about Brian. He was a character that I played on a server prior to NoPixel.
Oh.
The only server I ever played on prior to NoPixel, and I figured, I would bring him over to NoPixel once I got in, and then I learned quickly that he wasn't going to work.
Yeah.
So you haven't heard of Brian because I was just like, yeah, no,
I feel like I
yeah,
remember
no.
seeing you playing him once or twice
You
back in
might
yeah,
have. You might
2.0.
have. Yeah.
Because
Uh,
I do remember that name.
to answer your earlier question about me being on 2.0, it was more
Yeah.
probably the latter. Maybe more mid 2.0, I want to
Yeah, because I
say.
was late 2.0. So I feel
Yeah.
like you were mid.
Yeah, I'm always
Yeah.
mid.
No, I didn't mean like that.
But
Uh,
yeah, that was
yeah,
that's where I started was mid 2.0,
God.
but yeah,
2.0.
I guess so 4 characters though.
Yeah. Ori,
But
were you 2.0 at all, or?
I'm not. A lot of
Oh.
people seem to think I was, but I wasn't.
Yeah, I was like,
I didn't
man. Yeah,
I
you
started
seem like
in
the
March of
vibe.
2021.
Wasn't it like right at the end of 2021 that 3.0 started?
No, it was the beginning of 2021.
Wait, really? Oh, I
Yep.
guess. Yeah,
The 3.0 dropped during what was it?
COVID
February of
times.
2021. Yeah.
Okay. I'm
Yeah.
the COVID times get all mixed up for me, so I'm like, wait, did I start in 2021 or 2020? It was
I have
2020.
no memory of this
Oh
place.
God, it's gonna be 4 years soon.
All
Oh
right,
no.
Gandalf.
I don't like to think about that.
Oof, yeah, that is. It's hard to think
Yeah.
about the time actually
Yeah.
because like I feel like it's been longer than 4 years.
Yeah, it's all weird. But I mean, I have COVID to thank for me, actually being on the server because I never would have done it if I was, at college in a dorm room, not having a bunch of free time.
Mhm.
Like I never would have been able to do it.
I think it's kind of the same with a lot of people and also why it became so popular during 3.0
Yeah.
was just simply like everybody was home and had nothing else to do.
Yeah.
Like, what are you going to do? Oh, let's get involved with role play or let's watch role play, depending on which side of the coin you're at.
Yeah. I mean, I was watching roleplay for a long time before I ever, was like, all right, I'll get onto the server. Which actually leads
Hmm.
me to want to talk about how did you guys find No Pixel?
You want to go first, Westy?
I'll go first this time.
I call him Westy, by the way, guys.
Westy,
It's
that's
just,
Yeah, she
cute.
does.
yeah. It's just, I'm just too lazy to say Mr. West
Yeah.
16.
Mr.
Okay,
West
yeah,
16.
I take it. I take it. So how did I? Okay, so uh, I guess when first started getting interested in role play, it was always as a viewer. Like I never really thought of it. Like at first, I was like, "Ooh, I want to try that," but like I was first exposed to it in this kind of virtual form. When Arma 3 was still kind of a big
Ooh,
thing
you were an Arma 3
in
person.
yeah, and I had never played Arma 3 prior to even knowing about RP, so I mean, I had no knowledge of Arma 3 or the Arma series in general, but then I
Mm.
fell down like that rabbit hole and like just found these like forums and these clips, these videos, like all these like Kylie, what's her name? Kylie Bitkin. Like
Yeah.
I saw her back when she was still very much active during Arma, or at least there was like video of her like in an Arma server,
Wow.
and like this is like well before I knew what a no pixel even was. And like I just like was like, this is like amazing because there was like this whole like crazy police situation going on. I just never seen a game go to these lengths. It's like to me, it's like my dream game has always been like being able to organically talk to NPCs in such a way that they mimic real life,
Mm,
and the idea of it being
yeah.
done by real people. I mean, it's just like, okay, I guess that's
Yeah.
definitely one way to do it.
I'm sure you like the
Um,
video games that are implementing like the AI
oh yeah,
characters
absolutely.
now.
Absolutely. That's the stuff I'm really into right now. But
Oh.
but as for like Arma 3, like I got onto the City Life RP server, and I quickly realized that I had no idea what I was doing, and I couldn't figure out the controls. Somebody
Oh
approached
no.
me, and I couldn't say anything,
Oh
and then I
no.
quit, and I never went back.
Oh no, that's so
So
sad.
then I went back to being a viewer, and I kind of dropped off of Arma, and I was just like, whatever, And then I fell into. I was watching a what was it? I think it was a Vine Sauce stream or something, and
Mm,
actually no, it was before his stream had started. I don't know if anybody here knows who Vinny Vine Sauce is, but
yeah.
he's one of my favorite streamers. I still watch him to this day.
Oh.
Just a little nugget of information. And his auto host had somebody had Kit Boga
Oh.
show up on stream. He played Edna Moose.
I think
Like
yeah.
it was an elderly character,
I
and
remember her.
she yeah, yeah, and
God.
it reminded me, like, again, it's like I went back to that, like, oh shit, this RP thing is still going on, and it's this Grand Theft Auto, which to me was a game that I had more interest in Grand Theft Auto because I played the shit out of that. Can we swear here?
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean,
Okay.
I role play on No Pixel. Everyone
Okay,
swears
well, I
there.
just wanted to be sure. Um, and like, basically, like, I accidentally fell into role play again with Grand Theft Auto, and I was just like, okay. I started watching Edna
Yeah.
and Kit Boga streams, which led to Milton T. Pike,
Oh, Milton.
which then led to Nikita,
Yep.
and Nikita, which led to me deciding to give it another shot. It's interesting because it's just like before Nikita, I thought that all this was just a comedy show, basically, and
It's a soap
I
opera.
didn't. Yeah, I kind of didn't have a whole lot of interest in playing it. I was, oh, this is fun to watch, but I don't really want to engage because it's just a bunch of comedy, and there's nothing wrong with funny
Yeah.
stuff. It's just like I thought that I was just like, well, it's funny to watch and all that. But then when I started watching Nikita and started seeing the connections between all these characters and just like how vast the tapestry was in RP, I was just like, okay, there's something here. So
Yeah.
I started watching Nikita, and then I started watching Sonia Summers, and God, what were the other two? Like Gomer, and
Hmm.
just a few other people, and I was just like, this is pretty amazing. And then eventually I decided to put my hat in the ring again, and here we are.
Yay, and you figured out the controls that time?
Yeah, I figured out the controls this time. I
God, that's
finally-
always the worst part of starting the server is just not knowing what to do. I remember having to ask on my first day and it was terrible. God, that is quite a journey. I mean, we both have Nikita in common.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It was like she to me is kind of the like I would say Speckle is a pretty close inspiration, but also Nikita, just in the sense in terms of like how she presents her role play. That is
Yeah.
kind of how I try to do it as well. A little bit differently because like as where she has always kind of been more subtle with the way she does things, I'm a bit more overt.
Yeah.
And it's just like she was kind of the template that you know,
Yeah, I can definitely see a lot of that.
yeah, yeah.
Well, I remember watching you on her streams.
Yeah, yeah, those were very interesting interactions
Yeah,
because
that was
like
wild times.
yeah, yeah, like it was so surreal because again, it's like I went from being like a fan of her streams and not thinking I would ever get on the server because I
Yeah.
was just like, whatever. I'll put an application in and I'll probably just be like, yeah, no, and then I'll move on and whatever. But then a friend of mine who was also into No Pixel was saying, I don't know, man. I think you have a shot. And I'm just like, maybe. I don't know. We'll see. Then I ended up getting whitelisted in January of 2020.
Yeah, it would be
Yeah,
2020.
2020.
Oh,
Yeah,
before
2020.
the before times.
Yeah. Just literally like a month or two before the lockdowns really
Yeah.
started going ham.
Oh,
Um, so yeah, oh god, I barely remember that. And it was yeah, I was whitelisted, I think, in maybe early January, and then I played for the first time on January 4th, 2020. I know this because I read it on my Hasroot. Is it Hashroot or
Hazard.
something?
Yeah.
Hasroot page, and it said, "Oh, that's when I first streamed on
That's
NoPixel."
so
So
cool.
yeah.
I think I was
So
August 20th, 2020, somewhere in that range.
oh,
I remember I
jeez.
was waitlisted for a while, but I was having computer troubles, or well, I actually stole my older brother's computer. He was making a new computer, and I was like, "Please, just give me your old computer so I can stream on it," because all I had was a laptop before.
Yeah, I had a really bad computer at that time too,
Yeah,
and it was just
but
very choppy.
I remember doing my first stream. I didn't even have the desk setup I have right now, so I was hunched over this table like like with a mouse and like trying to just make my way around on my first day. That was the best. And then I met you on my first day, I'm pretty sure.
Did you meet me on
Or
your
was
first
it the
day?
first day?
I
Or
I
maybe
feel
it
like
was
didn't
maybe it
you
was a little
meet
bit
like
after.
well, no, we didn't meet right away. We
Yeah.
met you fell into everything, I think, when you met Jasper, right?
I met
Like
him the first day.
yeah, Jasper was the I'm not Jasper.
You're not? Well, this whole
No.
time I thought you were.
Despite popular belief, I do in fact do not play Jasper Saxon.
Uh,
But
oh
yeah, I think you
darn.
met Jasper, which led into like Basic Chastity, which led into
Yeah.
like all these different
Yeah, it was
I
weird. It was wild.
Oh
God.
my gosh.
We got to
Anyway,
talk
that's
about that
that's
later
that's me in a
on. But
nutshell.
yes, Ori?
So yeah, I started role playing in the dark ages of the 1990s.
Oh,
Oh.
And in those days, we used to go to a place where everyone else was, and we would role play
MSN
in
Messenger?
person. No, actually, live action role playing. I did a little bit on
Oh,
AOL,
that's
like
so
role playing. That's
cool.
how I got into it initially. But I really got into it in the late 90s when I was invited to go to a LARP event in Chicago.
Oh, that's so
Uh,
cool.
yeah. So I started playing Vampire the Masquerade as a live action role play back when like 200 people would be at one of these events. It was pretty crazy. Had a lot of fun. And like I've run games, I've played different characters. And I spent 20 years playing different types of games, different types of characters,
Hmm,
and helping to story tell them or DM them.
that's so cool.
Now,
I've only done
yeah,
one LARP before, and it was like one of super fun. It was the best.
yeah, there's different kinds of LARP, like boffer LARP and just improv LARP. Ours was more improv LARP where we didn't have any weapons or anything. I have gone to those where you have like weapons, foam covered sticks, and you're throwing packets to represent that it's an arrow being thrown. I Yeah, I'm not a
does
physical
playing
person.
does
Yeah.
playing
What?
house with your friends outside count as LARPing?
I mean, maybe.
Kinda. I mean,
Yeah.
it depends. I generally need a rule book for it to count.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
I mean, the LARP I did, we used Nerf blasters, and it was the best.
Yeah, it's a common one. But I played just strictly role playing, only acting. We solved all of our disputes with rock paper scissors. So yeah, that was the technique of World of Darkness was rock paper scissors. So
Yeah,
yeah,
I've
we'd
heard
be
people
throwing
mention
chops at
Vampire the
each other,
Masquerade.
yo.
Yeah, I've heard people mention Vampire the Masquerade.
hmm
It
Yeah,
sounds cool.
it's a fun game. It's just vampires being political bastards and whatnot. I also played a lot of Werewolf, which was what I called the more complicated game because Vampire is a game all about fucking over your enemies. Werewolf is a game about fucking over your enemies, but then also having to work with them towards a common enemy.
Oh.
Like Yeah, like there were so many people that you would dislike in the game, like as a character, but you then had to all come together to fight the bigger enemy that we were all up against.
Oh, that's
So it was
cool.
like, yeah, I considered it a more mature game, but I'm not
Yeah.
like if I pick vampires or werewolves, I'm gonna pick vampires like as a
Oh,
concept, but
yeah.
werewolf as a game was way better for me.
Hmm.
Yeah. Anyway, I played that for 20 years. When pandemic hit, I was watching just different streamers because I come in from the Aussie side of things, even though I'm not Aussie.
Oh.
uh, so I'm a moderator for Loser Fruit. She's a big Aussie streamer, and was the first lady to get her own skin in Fortnite.
Oh.
So I was a mod of her for a couple years, and during the pandemic, I was able to really work it. And as a result, coming in through her, I met a lot of different people, including Bazagaza. Bazagaza being a
Oh.
member of this, like they had a gamer group down in Australia called Click. So Loserfruit, Baza, a few other people are part of it, and so I watched Baza as well. And Baza plays Barry Benson on
Yeah.
No Pixel. Mm. His first few days on the server, I was watching him, and I could not stop laughing at how stupid it was, how stupid Barry was, how hilarious his character was, because he initially came in as like an insurance salesman scammer whose wife
Oh
died.
god.
Oh my God, it was so good. And I'm watching him and just laughing. And then I thought, I'm going to be at home all the time. Why don't I just apply? Like, I've got
Hmm.
experience role playing. I should be able to get on here, no problem. 2 applications later, I got
Huh.
in.
2 applications, nice. That was mine
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah?
Mr. West, how many did it
Nice.
take you?
Just one.
Oh, you're flexing
Well,
Early
on
I
us.
days.
mean, okay, so I made one error, and I think that I mean, you can make an argument it
Yeah.
was two, but like I had one error where I linked the wrong Steam thing. But I mean, I guess
Yeah.
that was it.
I only
So
had to redo like one thing. But I think it was easier because I applied back at the end of 2.0 when there was like
Mhm.
no one applying.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. And
or
I
you had
applied
to
at the
do it at
height
the
of
yeah.
freaking applications in the middle of
That
3.0,
must have been
where everyone's
tough.
like, "Ooh, I'm a juicer. I gotta check out XQC."
Yeah, God.
And I'm like, "Hi, I'm a woman in her 40s who just wants to role play."
Yeah. Oh
Yeah.
God. Yeah. Man.
So that's how I get into it.
Yeah. It's always interesting to hear other people's stories about how they got into it. I started watching Markiplier when he played on the server early 2.0. He
oh,
only
I didn't
played
even
for
know
like
he ever
I
played.
yeah,
remember watching him with like he was the water. What was his
yeah,
name?
he
The
was
Water
Stan the
Boy.
Waterman.
Yeah, Stan the Waterman. Oh my god.
Yeah, he only played like a few times, but it was enough to get me hooked. And then I went onto the Reddit and I was like looking through people and then I saw this clip of Nikita and it was this like sad clip of Tessa breaking up with her girlfriend. But the thing that I was like interested with was like, "Oh my god, there are lesbians on this server. There's gay representation. Hell yeah." And that's what got me to want to watch
It's
more.
interesting because, like, that was when I started kinda, really getting into the storylines too. Because it was just
Yeah.
like, "Holy fuck." I don't remember if that was after I put my app in or not when that happened. Because it's, like, immediately after they broke up, like, Amara died, like, 2 or 3
Yeah.
days later,
Oh my
and
god.
it's just like, "Holy"
Oh
like, how did
god, that
that
was the
like, are
best.
you sure they didn't plan this? You
God,
know?
that was the best. That was December. I remember like being stuck to my computer watching it like, "Oh my god, this is the most gripping thing I've ever seen." Oh, that was good.
Good stuff.
Yeah. That I'm sure we all have experiences where we just could not look away from the role play because it was just that good.
Oh yeah, definitely. I think one of the ones that got me early on that I was watching is I somehow fell into Whippy and Saikuno's early stuff with
Ooh.
Dundee and Yuno. And Dundee, like Yuno was doing his stupid snitching bit,
Yeah.
and Dundee found out about it, went to go took him out in the middle of nowhere. And then it turned into a NordVPN ad. And it was really I just was like, what the fuck just happened? Like they went from like in character being all serious and then suddenly like you need protection, like NordVPN. And then they just did an ad together for NordVPN while in the server.
God.
I was just, oh man, those guys. I
Sounds about
swear.
right.
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
God. Yeah. I feel like that's what we strive to do in roleplay is to recreate those moments and do that for other people now. I feel like
Yeah.
that's one of my big drivers is I want something where people are like on the edge of their seats, like, oh my gosh. I think that's what kind of drives me. Do you guys feel the same way?
I
Yeah.
wind up in a responsibility kind of level of things where I'm less concerned with my own needs and start becoming more concerned with making sure that things are running correctly in game, that
Oh.
people have businesses or food, or I'm an RP enabler. And that comes from my DMing past, where,
Hmm.
I try to kind of help push certain stories or try to make sure people get their food or whatever. Anything to help, the server in some way or help my fellow players.
Oh,
Like if I
that's
see somebody's
nice.
gonna be doing a wacky, wacky, crazy plot, I go into it. I don't like, be like, oh, I wouldn't do that. My character's too serious. I'm like, fuck yeah, let's join.
Yeah.
Or let's help them in whatever way we can to help it going. So I think flexibility is a big part of it.
Hmm. Yeah.
I'm the opposite. I am the main character of
Yeah, we all know that.
all of No Pixel.
Yep.
You must. eh, I'm a roleplay god.
Yep.
I am the absolute best that there ever will be and ever was. No. Like so it's so what exactly is the question though? I
What
got.
drives you to role play and stream?
Uh, I mean, I guess for me, like I've always been like a writer, I guess, at heart. I did used to
Yeah.
write a lot of things back in the day. A lot of things that I actually did maybe possibly made into like actual stuff that's out there somewhere.
Oh.
Um and I, honestly, I'm kind of a terrible writer when I look back at a lot of it
Aw.
because it's just like some of
Well, you
this is
gotta
kind of
practice
not
it.
so great. Um but like I kind of well, I guess one of the main reasons why I wanted to do RP was because I'm a storyteller and it was
Yeah.
a conduit to tell stories and to create stories and to be able to tell the story the way that I wanted to tell the story. Essentially, you know, like obviously I'm kind of a bit of a darker storyteller in the sense that
Yeah.
there's a lot of themes that I like to explore that maybe not everybody on No Pixel is as fond of.
Yeah.
But like that, but it was still like the fact that the remains is that like this server kind of gave me the tools though to be able to tell the stories I've been wanting to tell
Yeah.
in the way that I wanted to tell it. And that's basically kind of what it is for me. It's just like being able to use this platform as like an ability to I guess, sh show who I am? I don't know, it's hard to does that make any sense at
No,
all?
no, that makes sense. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm a huge writer. I haven't written as much since I got onto NoPixel because this is kind of my creative outlet now. But yeah, I'm a huge storyteller. That's kind of
Yeah,
what drives me as well.
yeah, and it's like, 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 it's I guess, like, another motivation would be also is that I wanted to kind of do for slow burn what maybe
Yeah.
somebody like, like a Mr. Kevin or a Buddha would do for fast burn, if that makes any sense? In the way in terms of how I presented Mr. Smiley or Kenneth or whatever you wanna call him, like, I wanted to kind of
Too many names.
yeah, way too many names. I wanted to sort of, like, present it, as like it's obviously slow burn. There's obviously going to be stuff going on that is incredibly boring, and there's going to be some times where I'm just driving around doing absolutely nothing for 4 hours.
Yeah.
Um, but intermixed with that, there might be some stuff in there that you didn't expect, and it might escalate in such a way that it's almost a replication of what you would see maybe on a Mr. K stream or a Buddha stream. So I guess in that sense, it's like people like to throw around the word content a lot.
Yeah.
And I believe that if you're going to use the term content, I kind of believe that it goes both ways, and that fast burn might be the content that you get, really rapid fire, but slow burn can be content too. And that's kind of, I guess, maybe in a roundabout kind of way. Like, I know that's probably maybe a bad word to use, but that's kind of what I'm going for. I'm trying to create sort of slow burn in a more content inspired way.
Hmm.
Uh, and like, just trying to see, like, how people react to that, and I think it's worked out pretty well.
Yeah.
Maybe, I don't know.
I feel like there's definitely some people who are like, "Oh man, the serial killer stuff is annoying," and
Well, then that means that we did our job.
God, God.
So I
I
look at it this way when it comes to role playing, and this is the big lesson I've also learned in life, and it really helps in dealing with everything. You are not always going to be everyone's cup of tea. Your stories won't
Yeah.
necessarily be everyone's cup of tea.
Yeah.
Like, for instance, people who love that kind of serial killer slow burn role play might not enjoy the fast paced, nonstop criming of like Chang Gang or watching the ACDC stuff.
Yeah.
Or they might, maybe they're here for comedy, maybe they're here for James Randall shenanigans, or maybe they're here for incredibly slow journalism and politics. Everyone has something they like about role play. The big
Yeah.
thing is just don't fucking shit on streamers about it. You
Yeah.
know, you can dislike a character. I don't care if I have 1,000 people say they fucking hate Ursula and they think she's annoying, as long as they don't say, well, Ori's a bitch,
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
then I'm like, well, that's just personal for no reason. You don't even know
Yeah.
me.
But I think
Yeah.
it's hard for people to dissociate the character from the streamer in some ways, especially when at some points I feel like I put like a bunch of myself into the characters.
I think that's inevitable,
Yeah,
Oh,
honestly.
it's
yeah.
You
inevitable.
you you can't really, like, the only reason why I'm not playing Mr. Smiley as Mr. Smiley is because that voice is incredibly hard to do forever. You know?
God.
So it's just like, it's you at some point, if you're gonna be playing the same character every day for X amount of years, it's going to become more
You.
like you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just
But
an
that's normal.
inevitability.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's very normal with role play. Anybody who does any kind of role playing, every character is a small part of yourself. Sometimes a lot of them are a
Yeah.
lot more self-inserty than others, but that's why I always laugh when people are like, "That person's always self-inserting," and I'm like, Do you know what
That's
self-inserting
just
means?"
improv.
Yeah, I'm like, if you mean they're inserting themselves into a situation, that's not inserting.
Yeah. Uh
Viewers crack me up though.
yeah. Oh, we got a good question here. It's actually one I wanted to touch on later as well. Is how do you balance in-game mental health issues, aka accuracy versus comfortability? And I think all of us here have some experience with that.
Oh yeah.
Uh I guess I can go first in that, I play Joanna. She's specifically her diagnosis would be schizoaffective disorder, so it's, schizophrenia and bipolar kind of mixed together. And that's kind of I've always worried like, oh, am I doing something that might be seen as like offensive? Am I going, too TV like stereotypical? And it's something that I do worry about. I try to do my research. I try to, when something happens, I try to tell chat like, this is just role play. This is probably not accurate to real life. It's kind of something I try to push a lot because I know that I'm never going to get it 100% accurate and I don't want to make anyone uncomfortable. What about you guys?
I mean, speaking for myself, people know that I played a character with dissociative identity disorder,
Yeah.
and that was a huge part of Ursula in 3.0. I played it extremely close to realism as I could because I feel that there's this movie stereotype of DID, which is that, you're just a killer waiting to happen. There's always going to be that one
Yeah.
quote personality that's evil. And I think that's kind of full of junk.
Yeah.
Because, like, if you do any real research into it, one, they're called alters. It's no longer multiple personalities, it's dissociative identity disorder. They're not personalities, they're alters. And I did a lot of research into like what alters are and what they do and how they affect the overall system and tried to educate everyone. In fact, I had several people who have DID say, I'm really glad to see some representation.
Oh,
Although a few had to kind of bail out of my stream because, the whole
too
story with
accurate.
with Mr. West came up, and the serial killer stuff is a bit triggering for
Yeah,
people with DID because of the stigma there. And
yeah.
so that's an area where it became more about the story and less about the realism.
Yeah, that's
So
that's
yeah,
always the tough part is that, a lot of No Pixel is based on like violence, but you never want to like say like, "Oh, this mental illness is inherently violent." Like
exactly.
it's
Yeah.
it's such a hard balance to strike. And I
Yeah, that's
think
why I made a rule. Yeah. I made
yeah,
myself a rule. I said if Ursula ever becomes a killer or, like in that line, that it's Ursula. It is straight out just Ursula. It's never going to be any of the alters. It's always going to be that's Ursula. And it's usually going to be at a time when there's no one else like,
yeah,
there to stop it
yeah,
because they would. Yeah.
yeah. It makes
Yeah.
sense. Mr. West, I know you don't really play maybe like I mean, I guess Smiley is a narcissist, sociopath.
I mean, to be honest, I don't really, I, I don't exactly choose to really play him accurately to any
Yeah,
specific type of thing or anything like that. If I'm being completely honest,
it
it's
just kind of
more.
happens.
I mean, yeah, it's more of just like I'm just here to kind of have fun and entertain people and stuff like that. Like, I'm not really, trying to make him out to be some sort of, like a representation of any specific type of, like uh, health issue or mental health issue or anything like that. Like, I'm, purely just kind of the way I guess the original template, as much as I don't really like the comparison, is I kind of going for the Joker, like the
Yeah,
Joker is
yeah.
kind of undefinable, and in that sense, that's essentially what I've gone for in regards to this character. Is that he doesn't really fall into any realistic category
Yeah.
or anything like that, and it's never been the intention of the character
Yeah.
to do that. Um, but like, that being said, there have been some areas that, I have sort of touched upon a little bit with him. Um More or less, I guess, with the storyline between Ursula and Kenneth, he's kind of realized part of, why he does some of the things he does, and a lot of it has to do with like PTSD and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And but that being said, I don't really touch upon it too much. Like, I guess if I were to balance it, it's not like about like trying to make any kind of point or anything like that, or try to like
Yeah.
uh, fit some type of narrative or anything like that. It's mostly just just, oh, look at me, I'm a crazy clown. Ooh, it's
Yeah, yeah.
just,
Just kind of doing what feels right.
Don't let
yeah, yeah.
Chatterbox hear you say that.
Oh no. Don't be
you
a
are not a
clown.
crazy clown.
I'm a crazy clown. Ooh.
Kenneth the clown.
Like, when
God.
Chatterbox showed up on the server, I'm like, holy! I was like, wait, what? like, does he know Mr. Smiley? And I was just like,
He
'cause
did it.
yeah, I know. That's why I
He
was
had
just like,
no
oh,
idea. It was
yeah.
so funny.
Oh god. Are they that similar?
Not really, actually. They're actually very, very different. But like at the time when he first showed up, I was just like, wait, is was this guy? Did this guy watch me or something?
God.
But no, he
Thus, the
has like this whole.
narcissism shows again. No,
Yeah.
I'm kidding.
Yeah, yeah, I know, I know. But no, it's interesting because I think he like he no he had like this whole huge lore even I think before showing up on No Pixel. But yeah, that was fun.
Yeah. God. Now we're all involved with the clowns in a way,
Mhm.
which is
Yeah,
kind of
it's funny how
kind of
that worked
wild.
out.
I didn't expect Mabel to become a clown, but it's become one of my favorite things. Is just interacting with them. They're all so great.
God, the internal discussions on all the newbies are insane.
Oh, are they like
Like,
oh.
Yeah, well, it's interesting because everyone's like, "Well, you just say you're a clown," but, like, then the OG clowns are like, "Yeah, but there's too many clowns now," and I'm like, "Who fucking cares?" Just,
Yeah.
like, if you don't wanna, like, help them or help them become part of anything, then just don't interact with them. No big.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, this is all in game. Out of game, very enthusiastic about the amount of interest in the clowns.
Yeah. But the clowns represent like the kind of anti-grinding mentality of the
Mhm.
server, I think, which is,
Yeah.
you know, just do things for fun, you know, just don't worry about like getting the win,
Yep.
which I think
Yep.
is really important. I think a lot of
Yeah.
people are just looking for that, which is why people are gravitating so much. Plus, it's just
Yeah, no,
fun.
100%. Yeah, no, yeah, and being able to take an L is the biggest part about being a clown.
Yeah.
If you mauled about losing, then you're not meant for the clowns.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And uh hmm. Was I lost my train of thought real quick.
Happens to me all the time.
Yeah. God. But
Every
yes,
minute of
being
every
part
World.
of the
day.
clowns is a lot of fun. I'm glad that we're all kind of there. Last night was super fun.
Yeah, that was fun.
You got Mabel to smile for the first time.
Yeah, yeah. I think these kind of stupid little things are the things that you have fun doing.
Yeah, yeah. It
Yeah.
Yeah, I like to just, like, kind of observe these things as they happen, like, even though, like,
Yeah.
it's obviously, it's always fun to participate, but, like, I like to just kinda, like, watch and just see how it all plays out, you know? That's
yeah.
kinda like, stand there basically silently and just watch. Like, the whole clown speaking of the clowns, like, Smiley, like, hanging out with Ursula in this massive during all these massive meetings with the clowns and all that, like, there's no reason for Smiley to be there. Nobody said to leave or anything, so he's just kinda there hanging out, just watching as this all unfolds around him, and, like,
Yeah.
it's just like, like, I'm
Yeah.
I'm I'm here
It's
for
just
it,
watching the role play, but you're in
Yeah,
the
I'm
server.
basically as, like, a viewer, like, in the server, like, watching it as it's happening, it's hearing all these
Normal.
things getting revealed, and it's just like, "Huh." Like, I know more like, Kenneth knows more about the clowns than I think he ever thought he would know about the clowns, and he was just kinda standing there,
Yeah.
just like and that's
Well,
kind
I
of
mean,
how I
it
try
kind
to
of is
play
the
him as much
trust.
as
Yeah.
possible, is that
Yeah.
him just kinda listening, you know?
And it definitely I think it marks a difference in 4.0 versus 3.0 Kenneth in that, people are more willing to let him into stuff and not
Right.
be like, "Oh, he's just the crazy serial killer dude."
Mhm, mhm.
Which I
Yeah,
feel like you
yeah.
had that stigma for a while.
Oh yeah, oh
Yeah.
yeah. I mean that I think that stigma will always be there, but
Yeah.
like it's
Yeah.
like that was the good thing about 4.0 is just like being able to divorce yourself mostly
Yeah.
from everything that happened before, and
Yeah.
just seeing I guess what happens as opposed to just planning every nuance and every little detail of
Yeah.
whatever story you're trying to tell.
Hey, do we know if any serial killers have been approved to
I
like
don't
be in
I don't
No Pixel
think
Uh,
yet?
so.
as far as I know, that there's supposed to be a form,
Is
and
there?
that form was talked about like 4 months ago, and that form is still nowhere to be found.
Hmm.
So,
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I want to
I
do a serial killer character at one point just for fun. I had the idea of
Yeah.
doing it with someone else of being like this obsessive fangirl of the musicians on the server and like
Mhm.
writing terrible fan fiction about them. Just using my fan fiction past to to fuel the character.
I love it.
Yeah. Well, one day. But
Yeah.
yeah, I wonder when that's going to be available.
yeah, that's the question. I mean, I think my serial killer days are kind of behind me
Yeah.
for the most part,
No more
and it's interesting
yeah.
if I could like touch upon the whole serial killer
Yeah.
thing like in general like, I never I never like, when I made Mr. Smiley, he was never made to be a serial killer, quote, unquote. He was always just meant to be sort of this just sort well, actually, to be honest, when I made him, he was meant to be a parody of a serial killer,
Oh.
Specifically a no pixel style
Oh
serial killer.
no.
Um, and because like his whole purpose was like, like, okay, well, I'm gonna he's gonna look like an obvious serial killer. He's an obvious person. You probably, you always hear the mantra, don't judge a book by its cover, and he was kind of meant to be the opposite. Is that you probably should judge this book by his cover. uh, but like, he was originally supposed to be like kind of like a character where I would pick people up and I would take them to a location and make them think that they were going to die. And then instead of him killing them, he was just gonna, oh, here's a smiley face pin. Have a nice day. And then he would
Oh.
leave them. He would actually it's just his way of trying to make friends.
Oh my god. Oh my god, I remember
Yeah.
that. Giving the smiley face pins.
Yeah.
Nikki
Yeah. I gave
had one. You gave Nikki
server.
one. Oh.
Like half the server had a smiley face
Yeah.
pin at some point.
Yeah, that's great.
I'm not even just talking about like, I mean, it
I
got
mean,
even bigger in 3.0 because of
yeah.
Fury and Eris. But like uh but yeah, I never made him to be a serial killer. That just kind of
Happened
happened
based on the people you fell
organically.
around with.
Yeah. But I mean,
Yeah.
it's just A1 Chassis Dawes name gets dropped, so I
Yep.
mean that kind of changed the foundation
Oh.
of the character. And I wasn't even gonna play the character beyond the first day that I played him, but
Yeah.
it was during that time that it was literally the first day that I used Smiley that I got my original prio. So I'm just
Oh.
like, okay, well, I'm gonna keep this character. Um,
Yeah, I
and
mean,
yeah, and just like, I mean, I never wanted him to, even when he started doing serial killer stuff, like it was never meant to be like oh, this is the haircut killer. They cut hair and then they kill somebody, they take their hair or whatever.
yeah.
He was never really built to be that, which is why I hesitate to call him a serial killer, I guess, in the
Yeah.
traditionalist sense in terms of like how you present serial killer RP on the server.
Yeah.
Um, like when I talk about like how Nikita was sort of like the template a little bit, like it was similar to that, to how she's like a normal character that has like a bunch of nuance to her and a bunch of different storylines going on that aren't necessarily related specifically to her going around killing people for running over animals, like
Yeah.
that. And that's kind of how I've always viewed Kenneth. I've never viewed him as a serial killer
Mm.
character. I've just kind of
Interesting.
viewed him as a dark character who's got a lot of problems,
Yeah.
obviously.
Interesting,
And
because that's how
yeah.
I feel like other people view him, is just, oh, he's the leader of the serial killer group of characters.
Yeah, but I've always kind of seen him as more than just that. I mean, on the surface, it definitely can see why it would look like that, obviously, because it's just like there's like people have a certain idea of who Mr. Smiley is based on what they've heard about him, and that seems to be what the oh man, yeah, we'll get into that maybe in a little bit actually,
Yeah.
but like just like the legend, the quote unquote legend of Mr. Smiley.
Yeah, it got, like,
Um,
wild,
yeah, it did get
yeah. I
really
remember
wild.
people being, like, salty about it, which I don't know if you want to touch on.
I mean, we can touch upon, I'm open to anything really.
Yeah.
But like it's like it's not even really that though. It's just like there's so many theories and ideas that people came up with that I'm just like that's not even near that's nowhere in the same realm as what, like I think there was somebody who came up with this idea that he had multiple wives or something
What?
and had yeah, I saw
That was funny. That was funny as hell. That was wasn't that Betty?
No. It was no. This is actually this is in 2.0. This is I think it was when he was dealing with like Thomas. Oh God, what was his name? Oh man,
Dwayne.
Thomas Dwayne. Yeah, Thomas Dwayne. And I think Thomas Dwayne had these theories about him, and just came up with like had
Oh
like
my
these
god,
ideas that
Thomas
the
Dwayne.
Smileys would give contracts out to people, and would he
The
had
lore got
these
wild of, like, people
yeah
being
the
like,
lore
"Oh,
got
the Smileys will do this and this."
yeah, it's like 3.0 lore. It got wild in 3.0 for sure, but I would actually argue it was worse in 2.0 because it just got so out of hand in 2.0,
Yeah.
honestly. Like just the myth of Mr. Smiley outweighed who Mr. Smiley and Kenneth actually were, and
Oh,
it was wild to kind of see it happen.
yeah, but oh god, those were the days.
Yeah.
But it's always wild to just remember like how people were reacting like, "Oh man, all these serial killers are in a group. This is unrealistic." Like, yeah, like how everything else is unrealistic on No Pixel.
I
I
mean, yeah,
mean,
that's kind of how I view it too, is that this is not real, and this is like a fantasy world where, you have like you can have a character like Norman Bones
yeah.
claiming to be death, you know what I mean? That's kind of how I've always looked at it, is that you can't look at this too realistically because it's
Yeah.
No Pixel has always had the craziest shit happening on it, and to
Yeah.
suddenly be like, "Oh, well, this isn't realistic now because it's this, you know, whatever this is, I guess, it's this group of serial killers." I mean, it's just like, I mean, you just gotta like, you gotta peel it back a bit, I guess. It's interesting.
Yeah. It's definitely something that I feel like people get way invested in. Like, they want their streamers to come out on top. And
Yeah.
it's very interesting.
Oh,
Um
yeah, for sure.
yeah. Anyway, Ori, I feel like you're we've been talking about things that you aren't really
All
a part
good.
of.
No, all good. I don't mind. Part of being in a podcast or not a podcast is just, knowing not to talk when other people are talking.
Yeah. But uh do you have a perspective on all of it?
Which part?
Just I guess like the
Serial killer roleplay in
yeah, the
general?
serial killer
I think
roleplay in
just like
general.
the idea of just like how crazy the lore can get,
Yeah, like
and
how
out of
the
control
lore
for
can
just
kind
Oh
of
my
anything.
god. Yeah, no, I
change your
can tell you the
character.
lore
Yeah.
gets crazy.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah, like I
Put
know
it
that
as
like
Like,
like
people
how
have a
many
lot to say about Ursula too, you
yeah.
Oh
know?
my god, the amount of she has 45 different personalities. I'm like, dude, I cannot keep track of that. That is
45.
too much.
But yeah, I feel like the lore and the myths around your character get like wildly distorted, but
Yeah.
between talking to other people, and it can be
Mhm.
people might have a totally different view of your character. You're like, where did that come from?
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah. And I'm okay with it. Like the
Yeah,
my point of view is that they watch one person. So they typically or one or two people. They only have the perspective of that player and that character.
yeah,
So yeah, I mean, unless they get to know Ursula and spend time on stream with me, they're not going to know necessarily all the back end stuff. In fact, one of my most fun things going on right now is that uh, apparently in Chatterbox's stream, Ursula is very sus. She's got to be working with mimes because everything she does is sus, and it's like become a meme now.
oh
Ursula's
my
sus.
god,
Like Ursula's giving you
so sus.
$10,000. Sounds like she's trying to cover up something. That's sus, and now it's just a meme.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
I
It
mean,
cracks me up.
Ursula is sus. Oh,
Yeah.
Arista says, tell Ori Ursula's pastel hoodie was cute as heck. It was cute.
Oh, pastel.
Pastel,
Okay.
yeah, bleh.
Okay. Oh yeah, yeah. I like that one. I picked it. So since I've made the DID integrated, I trying to have Ursula have a little more color
Ooh,
and different because like she now has the memories of
yeah.
all the others. So she remembers being emotionless. She remembers being a gambler degen that just wants to protect everyone emotionally. And she remembers being the childish heiress who loves color and thinks things are cute. So I
Oh,
kind of try to incorporate all those things into the character now. Good thing I haven't made her go to the casino yet. Oh my
oh
god, we'd be
god.
so broke. Yeah.
Yeah. But you also swiped on the paywall. You got all
Yep.
those new outfits and stuff.
Oh yeah. No,
Jealous.
I mean, my take is like I'm supporting a community that I
Yeah.
love and I'm part of, and
Yeah.
I get something out of it too. So why not?
Yeah. I mean, I'm jealous. You got some cool stuff.
It's totally worth it to me. I love
Yeah.
having some of the new dress with like just the
Oh my god,
sleeves.
I was looking at them.
That
They're
one's
so
so
cute.
cool.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
I I've been saying that I feel like some of the clothes that we've gotten like before the new clothes were very bonked with the horny stick. And I'm
Yeah.
glad that these new ones aren't as there's some more modest options, which is kind of what I like for my characters more.
Have you heard about the new ERP law?
Oh yeah, what is it? The you can't ERP on
Basically, it's
Twatter.
the horny tax if
Yeah, the
you're gonna
horny
be like that on
tax.
Twitter.
God.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
the amount of people that just say incredibly sexual stuff on
Yeah.
Twitter for whatever reason.
It is.
Idle.
Yeah.
As
It's
one.
definitely interesting. Like, 'cause I've never made my characters very like sexual or, leaned into any of that stuff. So sometimes the
Mhm.
outfits make me go, man, this does not fit my character's personality at all.
Yeah, I mean, Ursula has been in her time a bit of a sexual creature, not in like
Yeah,
that
I
kind of way
remember.
where I'm being like, "Oh, I'm so wet right now," or whatever. I'm not like that, but
Yeah.
I always one of the things I'm trying to also strive towards is like comfortability of my fellow players because
Yeah.
sometimes it's really hard to read people you can't see.
Yeah.
So if someone's not comfortable with something, you don't know that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, like, it's really difficult, I find, especially
Yeah.
when, yeah, I can't see your facial reaction to know if you're like, "Oh, I don't like that." So, I'm leaning back from that now in
Yeah.
4.0.
But I remember when it was Casey in prison and Ken and Ursula were there as well. And the way we were role playing is that you had the cell next to mine. I was like, man, they're just going at it all night.
It was funny.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
was. Oh god.
Like, touching upon, I guess, that, now that we're kinda getting into it a
Yeah.
little bit, like romance, like, RP, like, I originally had no intention of ever even considering that, like, at all, like,
Yeah.
I'm I'm not, like, what's the word? A prude or anything, like, I'm open to anything and everything, I just didn't want to go there, like, all the way, like, if you talk sexual
Yeah.
or whatever, like, it's whatever, that's fine, I'm not, like, to be like, "Oh, don't talk to me like that," or anything like that,
Yeah.
like, but, like, I didn't wanna ever do any romance, mostly because, the character, he's,
Yeah.
like, a deranged psychopath, so, him going in that direction, didn't really make a whole lot of sense to me, but, like, the context of, like, the storyline that was going on between Kenneth and Ursula, like, it just
Mhm.
Yeah, it was
led
sweet.
itself down
I
that
yeah.
path
I
that
love their
is
on again, off again relationship.
yeah.
And
That's
it's
a
all
oh,
it's all
man.
Ursula's fault too. That's the
Yeah.
funny thing. Like if they're off again, it's because of Ursula. It's never because of Ken.
Yeah. Kenneth would
Oh, yeah.
Kenneth would
Oh,
do
yeah. Oh, yeah.
anything for
Ken knows
Ursula.
this. Ken knows this shit too, and he's just
She's
telling
so messed up. I
Yeah.
know. Now, granted, on an out of game level, part of the reason I want to do this is I want to have the option to one, not necessarily do relationship RP for a little bit because my character got so defined by it in earlier
Yeah.
times. But also, more importantly to me, is I want to leave options open to new things I haven't explored before that I think would be kind of interesting and whatnot. So, yeah,
Yeah.
we'll see.
Maybe with Scotty. I think Ursula mentioned that to Joanna.
Oh my god, the Scotty thing cracks me up because like I finally told Ken what it was about and he was like, "What?"
God.
So Ursula is trying to seduce Scotty Bard, not because she's actually in any way interested in him, but because he's closer to some of the mimes. And a way to
What?
murder the shit out of the mimes
Holy
is to
shit,
get
that's her
through.
plan?
That's her plan, yeah.
Holy shit.
But in the process, she's realizing that she might be breaking up their throuple. But then she starts
Oh.
hearing what the throuple is. It's all about friendship. There's nothing
Aw.
else. There's no romance. So why the fuck are they so jealous of Ursula if Ursula just actually wants to have romance and get together with Scotty and just like seduce him so thoroughly that every time Ava Popov, the mime, shows up, she knows all about it.
Hmm. That's that's
Yep.
Well,
that's very
Kenneth's
funny.
just waiting for you to ask him to kill him, so, just,
God.
just say the word. Just say the word.
I love that. Yeah, I like coming up with like different things like that that are just like character motivated, but can also add role play to other people.
Yeah. Oh.
Like this entire thing set off like a whole jealousy role play storyline with Tanner and Maeve,
God.
which
That's
by the way
great.
is hilarious because the player of Maeve is also the same person who wound up in an in-game relationship with Ursula's ex-husband. So
Oh.
it's like, oh hey, we're back here again.
God. Yeah.
But I love it, it's Sydney, the person who played Sydney. I
Oh.
forget her name on her like, Twitch name, but she's really cool.
Hmm. Yeah. That's that's great. I went into No Pixel like I was like, oh man, I'm not gonna do any relationship RP. That's cringe. I'm just gonna, go on my own way. And then Mr. West, I'm gonna blame you in some part
It's
for
always my fault.
yeah, yeah. It's always your fault. You're the one that I mean, a lot of that group was pushing the Nicholas and Nikki thing.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. We basically set you guys up.
Yeah, you did, because we were the only two civilians in the group of serial killers. We were the only two normal people, and they were like, "Yeah, you two would be perfect together." It was great.
Was this in 2.0?
Yeah, this is
Yeah.
2.0. So
Yeah, I was gonna say I didn't know
yeah,
those characters.
I had
Yeah.
Nikki Rivers, and Nicholas, it's just book guy. Um, so my first day, I
Oh
kind
wait,
of
Nicholas Reyes?
oh
Yeah.
yeah, Nicholas Reyes
Oh,
and Nikki
okay.
Yeah.
Rivers.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Nicholas Reyes has done tons of like he knows shit.
yeah, he does.
Oh, I like that guy a lot. He's
Oh,
really
he's
cool.
so
I never
good.
sit down with him very often though.
He's got a really interesting story, which I found out because Nikki was dating him, which was super great. But yeah, we were Nikki had fallen into like a bunch of the serial killer activity. Like her first day, I managed to like get in with the group of like Chastity, Joshua, Smiley. Forget who else was in there.
Chastity, Kylie
Oh
Winters.
yeah, yeah. Because I had
God.
gotten I had gotten contacted by
Actually, no,
Jasper the
not Kylie
first day.
Winters. Oh God, it was a different character. It was the same player, but I can't think of the
Yeah,
name.
but yeah, it kind of ended up in that group because I had gotten killed by someone or like, stabbed by someone who I think the group didn't like on the first day, and they kind of helped me out.
I know who it was too.
It was no, I know who it
Actually,
was.
you
It
know
was
who it was. Yeah,
Jerry. It
you
was
did. You
Jerry
did. Yeah,
Slime.
yeah, Jerry Slime.
Yeah, you eventually told me,
Oh
which
yeah, yeah, I
was
did. Okay, yeah, I
so
forgot.
great. That was wild. I wasn't going to play Nikki like a ton. I was like, okay, this is just my get to know everything first day character, and then all that shit happened. It was great. But yeah, and then it was me and Nicholas who were kind of the weird ones out on the group.
Yeah,
And
you guys were the weird ones.
yeah, we were the weird ones. But it ended up such a good story, just how it all came together, and it made me like, okay, relationship RP can work. I can do this as long as it's I flip the sexuality, so I usually just have my characters date a guy, just because I feel like it's less awkward for me.
That makes sense. If
Yeah,
you're LGBT, TQIA plus or whatever other extra initials have gotten added since I
yeah,
last learned them, I like, I'm the B there.
yeah. So you can't
And
flip it.
yeah, I can't flip it, but I'm also very comfortable with
Yeah,
relationship RP. I try to play off the other person and do check-ins and make sure they're okay.
yeah,
Westy and I talk regularly, so like if there's any problem, we know we can talk to the other person and be like, "I'm not comfortable with this" or something.
yeah,
But we pretty much figured out where each other's limits are, so we don't push it past
yeah,
that, which is basically, let's not do sex stuff. We can make jokes, but
yeah.
you know,
I
yeah,
mean,
Please
that's
do
that's what
about
I
sex
it.
did
stuff.
when I started, because I haven't actually done a lot of relationship stuff, but when I started Joanna's dating Julio now, I messaged Chalupa and I was like, "Hey, what are the boundaries? What do we want?
Mhm.
What's good here?" And I feel like that's a
Yeah,
good thing, yeah, to do whenever you start any relationship RP, just because you never want to make the other person uncomfortable.
100%.
And I feel like it's just the mature thing to do rather than risk get things getting weird.
Yeah, we used to have something in LARP called the
God.
that we would call the OK symbol. If you went into a
Yeah.
subject that was like a little bit touchy and could be triggering towards people, you would throw up in like a quick OK symbol, like,
Yeah.
so the other person could see, and they could either, do thumbs up, kind of like shake their hand like they're not sure or thumbs down. If they do shake their hand or thumbs down, you're done. The conversation ends and you move on. And
Yeah.
it's something I kind of try to bring into this to some degree by doing check-ins with people.
Yeah. That's it. That's
Yeah.
important, I
Hmm.
think. And
Yeah.
I feel like I feel like with going back to the serial killer stuff, I think, there was a lot of talk about like, okay, should people like be, consenting to like, hey, doing torture RP or whatever,
Yeah.
which uh I had it I did it. It only happened once for me when I was on KC and there was Happy in the prison and we had this whole rivalry thing going on and I was like, "Okay, I want Casey to do this, but I don't feel comfortable acting it out." So I just messaged him on Discord being like, "Hey, can we say this happened like, while I have him down on the ground?" I'm like, "Hey, can we just say this happened, but we don't have to role play it out?" 'Cause I was like,
Yeah.
it would just be too awkward to like do it in character. And
That
that
Player
worked
agency is
perfectly.
very
Yeah.
important. And I think one of the things that any responsible role player has to do is at least give them an option if you're going to be doing darker type plot lines. If you're
Yeah.
going to do like torture, be like, like send a quick OOC local and be like, are you comfortable with this? If not, we could just say it happened. I'll DM you and tell you the basics.
Yeah,
And then,
that's
like,
basically
so
what
you know what to
happened.
role play with. And then that's
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
established like, okay,
that's
this is the damage, this is,
Hmm.
what what happened to you, and we do not have to role play it out because that would be awkward.
well,
Bingo.
yeah, like essentially all the brainwashing stuff is just was done off screen. Like
Yeah.
we have a
Yeah.
whole document written about how exactly you're supposed to kind of act or what you went
Oh,
through during the process and all this other stuff. And obviously, it would only happen if there was player permission to do it,
yeah.
because not just because of comfort levels, but also because they literally had to not play the character for at least a week.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Um, so there was just like you literally had to like kind of like like play a different character for a little bit, or just not play at all, or maybe show up and make like I know Kieran like would show up and like twat out because he still had his phone with him.
Oh,
So like that
God.
that was like a thing that he did. But like yeah, like in terms of like that type of stuff, like I always kind of told myself when I first started doing this that Smiley does not remove limbs or
Yeah.
like do any
Yeah.
sort of thing like that. Like I mean, again, it's not necessarily just to express like whether or not somebody's comfortable or not, but it's also because I don't want to force people to RP that. Like
Yeah.
I don't want people to like, oh well, I chopped your foot off, so now you have to walk on a limp. It's just like that's not
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to make people do that, so I just kind of kept it. Either obviously I would create elaborate serial killer scenes with the tramp in 2.0,
Yeah.
but like which were obviously insane. But like in terms of like Kenneth or Smiley or whoever he is in the moment going around stabbing people, it's just a little carving and that's it. Like I
Yeah.
intentionally made it to where like I did not want to remove people's like take
Yeah.
trophy, no trophies. That was a rule I set from basically the starting.
That's a good
Yeah.
rule.
Uh I remember when Jasper was around, he was doing the cassette tapes, and that
Those were really
was they
cool.
were
Yeah.
so good. I have my own, and
Mhm.
I'm so happy about it.
I
Yeah, but
love that.
I remember the way the actual scene played out was he just stabbed me, but then we went back and like recorded the cassette tape, and we had like a whole interesting plot to it, like that we actually like figured out like, okay, this happened, yada yada yada. Um, and it ended
Yeah, I
up
went with
really
that.
nice. I'm still so proud of the tape. But the only thing I realized when I was doing it was it's so hard to find a balance between, moans of pain and moans of pleasure. And it's really weird. I was like, "Oh god, this
I
tape
remember
sounded
that
way too
tape.
sexual."
I remember that tape. I thought you were amazing on that tape.
Yeah, yeah. I had to do like several like retakes. I was like, "Okay, I've got to make sure that this isn't weird." I don't know if I could listen back to it now. I would probably cringe really badly, but But
Hey, you have something. It's fun,
yeah, yeah, it's like this memory of like, man, I was part of this cool, thing.
Can I
And
address
Yeah.
that comment from Snug a
yeah,
little bit for a second in the chat?
yeah, yeah.
There's a story actually. I know Jocelyn, who was played by Seraph, like she had both her legs like removed by James Randall
Oh
or
God.
or, or somebody in like 3.0. And what she did to kind of explain that away, and it was really just a way to not have to deal with it, I think. But the way that she kind of like explained it away is, oh, I have salamander legs.
What?
I have salamander legs, and then that was it. So that way she can explain why her legs were suddenly back.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
I
God.
mean,
Yeah.
it is a way to kind of handle it if you don't want. Like that's the thing. It's like if it's not something that you want to do, and it's just happening, and you can't really stop it,
Yeah.
you can explain it by any number of ways. Like, oh well, this happened. Maybe not salamander legs all the time,
Yeah.
but just you could probably come up with some type of an explanation for why. Oh, this
Land
is like
mimes.
why this? Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. You know,
Yeah.
like why this didn't affect you the way it was supposed to.
Yeah. RP is all about doing what makes you comfortable. And now that
Yeah.
we're talking about chat, there were quite a few questions in chat that I wanted
Oh, yeah,
to
let's take them.
address. Yeah, I don't want people to be waiting like, oh, when are they going to do this? So the easy ones. What are your thoughts on Jaeger, Ori? I don't know why they
Jaeger,
asked that.
Jaeger Demon Blood. I like him. He's a cool character. He looks like a freaking elf from WoW, which is really
Yeah.
weird because I can't like I have those moments where I'm like, we got rid of all the weird supernatural elements, so now I have to be like, okay, well, clearly this guy had his entire skin tattooed this purplish color, had
People
ear
do that?
extensions.
Yeah.
Yeah,
There's people
people
that
do
do
that,
that.
so I could buy that. I could buy that. But as a character, I think he's nice. I think he's a really cool character because he's willing to take the initiative. The
Yeah.
entire Sanguine Isle
God.
plotline was his
So good.
initiative.
So good.
Yeah, and him being too damn impatient to listen to a quote truce meeting, which led to an entire great plotline for so many people, and became like the cornerstone of the end of 3.0. So yeah, I mean, I appreciate anybody who's willing to give in their role play rather than just take. And even when we were all laying on the ground, well, sorry, when everybody was laying on the ground because they died in that scene, he was still there out of game watching. His character had been downed for like 3 hours, but he was
Ooh.
still there.
God
And
damn.
I loved that. I loved that he was there. Although hilariously, if you ever watch, I don't think I saved my VOD from that, but if you ever watch some of the back end stuff
Always
on
save
on
VODs.
Sanguine, he lost his damn mind because of the drone noise. It was so good.
God.
Eventually, he was just like, I can't take it anymore, and he
Yeah.
logged out.
Also, I
Nonstop drone.
yeah. Now that you mention VODs, I take from the Mr. West school of always save your goddamn VODs. You're the one that like made me think like, God, I just have to save everything. Like you never know when you might want to look back on something.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
Yeah,
I
see,
have
I'm okay with not
I'm a
not
data hoarder.
remembering.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
like if this were anything else, then obviously I wouldn't save a VOD. But this is like got such like major. There's huge stories being told here. They need to
yeah.
be
You
archived.
don't
In,
want to
in my
lose
opinion.
everything. And
Yeah.
it
having come from the LARP scenario where there are so many plot lines that I don't even remember happened, that one day I'll just be like, oh, this reminds me of that thing I did that one time.
yeah.
That's why I don't say VODs. I'm just kind of like, whatever. The story happened. People enjoyed it. I don't need to relive it,
Yeah.
which is strange because I'm the kind of
Yeah.
person who rewatches TV shows.
Yeah. I do I like to save stuff. I have a few old 2.0 stories saved on a little hard drive
Nice.
that were, some of my favorite things. I was like, "Oh man, this is so cool. If I ever want to come back to."
Oh, those original conversations though that Kenneth had with Tessa
I
are
had
no
some of those
longer.
saved.
Yeah, I know you did. You sent them to me, but they're
Yeah.
not on the website anymore. Ah.
Oh, well, I'll send them back to you. Don't worry.
Okay, okay.
Yeah. You got to save them this time. But yeah,
Oh,
those cuz I
actually, I
love those
did save them.
conversations.
They're on my old computer, so
Oh,
I have to fish them out, and that'll probably never happen.
yeah.
So that
Yeah.
was my opinion on Jaeger.
Yeah. But question, how do you deal with literal kids on RP? What do you mean?
Oh, well, first of all, there's no kids on
Yeah, there's no kids on No Pixel at
on
all.
NoPixel unless you mean like
Oh, the Zoomers?
Oh,
God. I mean,
I mean, that
there
depends on
yeah.
who's a Zoomer and who
Yeah.
we consider a Zoomer,
I mean,
Yeah, I
I
mean, if your
I'm
role play, yeah, if it matches mine, I
yeah.
can work with it. You got to learn to work with every type of player in the game.
Yeah. I
I
mean,
I
people
mean,
still
I
think that like I'm a
usually
baby. I'm 23.
You are a baby.
Yeah. Yeah,
I'm
everyone's like, "Oh, you're
literally
so
old
young."
enough to be your mother.
Yeah. God. Yeah. Which is always like sometimes I'm like, "Man, these people are like so much older than me." Like Mademoiselle Pixie, she
Oh
is
yeah.
a lot older. I'm like, "Man, this person could be my mom."
Yep.
But I started role playing when I was like 19. I started role playing on the server because it would be 2020, so I would be 19, which
Nice.
is wild.
it is wild.
But yeah,
You
I,
can
I
be,
I think it all depends on like the maturity of the person rather than their age. With
Yeah.
terms of role play, because there can be you can. I think that you gotta be mature to role play and like not take things to heart, to just have things kind of go with the flow, not like take things personally. It takes a certain type of person, I think.
Yeah. And the people that can't handle it don't stay on the server very long for one
Yeah.
reason or another. So but like, as somebody that is constantly in contact with all sorts of different people, the big thing for gaming, because of the journalism thing, the big thing for me is like when you're dealing with different personalities and different ages and maturity levels, you just kind of go with the flow. Like, if it's not your style, walk away from the scene. There's probably not going to be an issue, unless it's a forced thing like hostage role play. But generally, walk away from the scene if it's not your thing, or just be cool with the people and just match their energy somewhat.
Kind of why, like, one reason why I have Kenneth kind of observing, because it's just like they're like the clown energy is just not an energy that I can replicate. If I'm being completely honest, and
That's fair.
it's just like I don't mind being there, but like in terms of like actually like being like he can go Mr. Spot. Like, obviously, I can go there, but it's just like terms of matching the way that they
Yeah.
they do their thing. It's like I can never get there. So like the one reason why you might not ever see Smiley or Kenneth or whoever, I'm just gonna call him Smiley.
Yeah.
If you'll never see like Smiley probably hanging out with James Randall or even really Kyle Pred for that matter is just because I can't match that energy. It's just I don't have it in me to do that. So
I absolutely love the awkwardness of when Ursula runs into somebody like that and you're with her. And it's just like this awkward energy of like, Ursula, I don't want to be here. And Ursula's, Pred, let's go on a field trip. Let's join the DOC. Let's do this. And Ketch is like, why are you doing this to me?
God.
But I mean, it kind of
Great.
fits. That's the thing. It fits the character though, like
hmm
Yeah.
him
hmm
going through these kind of awkward things because
Oh,
it's just
yeah.
like him. Like that's literally why I made the character. He was made to be like
Yeah.
essentially a personification of my awkwardness
God.
and my anxiety. That's kind of
Yeah.
what it was, and being able to kind of weaponize it and use it as like an RP tool, so to speak.
hmm
To just like I, I can be
I love that.
weird on him and not worry about it
Yeah.
because he's supposed to be weird.
Yeah.
you
I
know
love that for you. I really do.
Yeah.
It's really,
that's why I
obviously, I
couldn't
do
play
because I've been role
Brian
playing
because
with you for 3 years. Yeah.
yeah,
I mean, role
that's why
playing is like, oh, no, go.
that's why I couldn't play Brian. It's just because like I just could not. He was just like it's it's like Brian was just a character on the server. Like I just made him and he just existed and there was just nowhere for me to take him because I just
Yeah.
couldn't talk to people. Smiley though, like he had a built-in foundation from day one, which led to this thing, which led to this other thing, which led to this thing. Like I
hmm
made it a thing to where it's just like, okay, well, unlike Brian, where he's just a character that exists on the server who just comes into the server and just goes through the daily stuff to try and maybe get somewhere. Like from the day one, like I immediately was just like, okay, well, what can I do with this story? Where can I take it? And like, let's just go. Let's
Yeah.
go.
Yep.
And
Yep.
That's
keep it story oriented as opposed
yeah.
to just existing, if
It's
that makes sense.
it's so hard when making a new character and not knowing anybody to like find a direction, which is the
Oh,
one part
yeah.
I like struggled with a lot on Mabel, and that's why I kind of glommed onto the clowns. I was like, okay, this is a direction I can go. These are people I can make friends with who can influence a story. I can, go from there. Because I've got a whole like huge Mabel backstory, like cool things. I've got like ideas like, okay, things could progress this way, it could be interesting, do this, do that. But I need other people. And
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
we had our totally off stream conversation
yeah,
in,
we did.
I think I know I was off stream. I
I
don't know
was
about you.
streaming. I don't usually do things off stream nowadays,
Yeah.
but that's
I
just
prefer it sometimes. Yeah.
yeah. I
Uh,
used to do it a lot more, but now I'm like I there's something about like entertaining the chat and like, I'm always
mhm.
like I want people to be involved and see it.
I get
Yeah,
that.
I'm a
I'm a
storyteller at
big
heart.
yeah, I'm a very big fan of documenting everything, but
Yeah.
that being said, I'm doing it less than I used to. Like, I definitely have been off stream a lot more lately than
Hmm.
Yeah.
I used to be.
Yeah.
But, yeah, it's I do I just yeah, I feel like, a lot of this stuff should be saved. It's just my personal
Yeah.
opinion on it.
But hey,
Yeah.
I mean,
It is part of the reason I waited to have that conversation with Ken, like while we were both streaming,
yeah.
Mhm.
because I knew that that was something that would be good.
Yeah.
Yeah. It
Hashtag breaking up part 5, Electric
yeah.
Yeah,
Boogaloo.
They're gonna
yeah.
get back together again at some point.
Oh yeah, they will. They will.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. I mean, Kenneth, like the conversation went well in Kenneth's opinion. Like, had it gone into a different direction, he probably would have brought up a lot of
Ooh.
this again,
God.
She would have been
Yeah,
like,
wow.
"That's totally fair." Like,
because like he got like he was talking to Joshua actually, not to get too meta y, but he was talking to Joshua a
Ooh.
little bit about
Joshua knew about it in advance. She told 2 different people,
God.
which was Joshua and Mabel.
Yeah.
So those were the ones who actually knew Ursula was, like,
I
thinking
was
about doing this.
yeah.
Yeah.
I was wondering. I was like, did they already break up? Like, should Mabel be like, so have you broken up yet? And if you hadn't, then it would like spoil it.
Super awkward. It would have been funny.
It would have been.
But like, yeah, it doesn't even really view it as a breakup. Really, it's
Yeah.
just like
Yeah.
I'm going through shit again, and we'll revisit this.
Yeah.
We'll revisit this in a couple months.
Yeah, yeah. I also want to allow for opportunity for a couple other things. Yeah, like the Scotty thing. I've got an interesting in-game potential relationships type thing going on with Surge Cross. I want to
Oh.
see if that'll actually become an interesting thing, or if it's just, him dangling a fish hook. So that's me, obviously,
Yeah.
out of game, seeing what Ursula would probably do with it. But also waiting for that moment where I have the chance to really explore the background plot of why she is so shut down.
Hmm. Yeah. The mime war.
Yeah. Like what actually happened during that. She
Yeah.
really hasn't told anyone. She
Do,
said she,
do all the
yeah,
clowns know what happened during the mime war? Is that like a
sort
thing
of.
you established OOC?
A bit. Okay, so kind of the take was this is what happened. Um, okay, so Chatterbox's initial thing was kind of the base that we used for all of our stories.
Ooh.
So if you go to his like No Pixel wiki, it tells his story. The way we kind of viewed it is it took place in Leonida, and it was clowns versus mimes. And we all kind of just made up the lore as we went along and kind of incorporated it. We know that the mimes won. Um, and everybody else just kind of went from
Damn.
there.
The
Like,
mimes won.
yeah, we thought that would be a better, I think,
Yeah.
yeah. But in general, it wasn't like a decided upon backstory. It was more like okay, Chatty already wrote up his. Let's use that as the base. And then the rest of us are going to write our section of what happened to us during that time.
Hmm.
And,
Pretty cool.
I went with the went as a journalist because I was forcefully conscripted by fucking Scruffy.
Damn it, Scruffy.
Yeah, that was funny. But, Ursula being a war documentary person, it made sense. So
Yeah.
I went with that. And then I had a story of everything about the integration and her coming back emotionless and starting to open up after a period of time.
It's funny we
Yeah.
both went with an emotionless character.
It's so funny. It was so funny. When I first met Mabel, I literally went, "Oh my god, like, did Ken just get a new me?"
It's so funny. 'Cause, like, the idea
With
for Mabel came, like, so sporadically for me. I was just like, "Yeah, this would be
Mhm.
an interesting character idea. Yeah, why not go for it? Why not
It's
go?"
gonna be hilarious, that's all
It
that
is.
matters.
God.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I love how
We
much
gotta
we're
do our bit
getting.
again.
Yeah, yeah. I love how much we get, like, mixed up for the other.
Yeah. I'm waiting for even more of that,
Yeah.
yeah, especially if you get your Ursula outfit going.
Yeah, yeah. We could swap places. That'd be great.
For a day,
Yeah.
yeah. Give each other's IDs and then go do
Yeah.
whatever the other one does.
God.
See, that's some clowning around.
Yeah, that is. The real clown
Yep.
energy.
Yeah, real clown energy. Big clown energy.
Yeah. Alright.
You can't
More
have a type.
questions. We got favorite meme character. Like, Adam, James Randall, Mama. Like, who was your favorite SBS?
Any character by Byrne.
Oh, that's a good one.
My favorites being B Sauce. I loved B Sauce. I had so much fun, like,
Mm.
doing when he would cut the song and be like, you sauce, Ursula here. And then I just go off on a riff. It was fun.
Oh,
Uh,
God.
but the Bojack Horseman plotline for like 2 days was so good.
Hmm.
For those who don't know, basically, Byrne played Bojack Horseman, uh, the character from the Netflix show, and basically made a version of him in GTA, who became alcoholic and eventually died of alcohol on a live action TV, or I mean,
Oh,
on a
no.
TV show. Like it was Morning Tea with Bobby Beldrum. If you look up Morning Tea with Bobby Beldrum on YouTube, you'll find it, and it is effing hilarious. And at the time, he caught Ursula playing as Eris, so Eris was out,
Oh,
one of the
God.
altars. And so Eris was just like, I'm gonna go with it, let's just have fun. Wee. And yeah, it just got crazier and crazier the longer it went. A lot of fun. Byrne is by far probably my favorite meme character because he can play everything.
Yeah. God.
Yeah. From like, attacking you with a Michael Myers or Scream ghost guy
Oh, my
to,
gosh.
being a bird that's fucking with you to finally, playing a random meme character. Yeah. It's good
Yeah.
shit.
Remember when he was the raccoon?
Mm-hmm.
God. They're the best. I haven't seen him around recently. Or maybe you just haven't been around at the same time as him.
I think I saw him play a couple of times last month.
Hmm.
Yeah, well, no, I know I did because I role played with him, and he's playing March Foos a little bit because of
Oh,
the
yeah,
8,000
yeah, no,
Foozes.
I did. I
Yeah.
had a little
Hmm.
therapy session with him on Joanna.
Yeah.
That was fun.
How about you, SD?
I'm not like a huge SBS fan in general,
Yeah.
but like I mean, I have to go back to kind of the beginning, and that's probably Kiki Chanel.
Oh,
If we're counting anybody as
Yeah.
being
yep.
SBS, it's probably Kiki Chanel or maybe
That's a good
even Edna
call.
Moose. Just like that was just like the funniest stuff I've ever seen from like anybody ever. So like yeah, that's yeah, like she's to this day probably my favorite.
That's a good call. I like
Yeah.
Kiki. Last time I saw Kiki Chanel was at driving school with Stephen Hayes, who had to take a driving test, and the driving test wound up being Shirley, Stephen, Kiki, and Ursula, and the driving instructor. No, he was the driving instructor. Kiki was the one who needed to take it.
Oh
And it
my
was the four
God.
of us in a car, and it was some of the funniest things I've ever seen. She's so good. So good. Love Kiki.
God. Oh, the times. I miss
Yeah.
Kiki. I say it all the time. I miss her. I miss Milton.
I thought that Milton was coming back. I thought I heard that
I'm
he was
sure
I
Milton
coming
thought,
back.
will.
yeah, he had like a flooding issue, and it seems like just a rough time.
Yeah,
I don't really
so
follow what he does, but the good majority of people eventually find their way back.
Yeah,
Even people who say they're pretty much done with it, they're going to find their way back
roleplay is
sometime.
addicting. I mean,
Yeah.
roleplay is
I
just
mean,
like
yeah.
it's a human thing to do. Like you roleplay as kids on the playground, you roleplay, you know, on the
I mean,
forums.
I left the server for 3 months, so
Yeah,
like
Yeah.
You know?
It just sucks you back in, like,
I
even
mean,
if
I
it's
knew I
not
was gonna
like
come
yeah,
back. It was just like I needed to get away.
Yeah. And that's healthy. That's extremely
yeah,
healthy. That's why I never judge anybody who says they need a break because role playing can also be incredibly intense.
yeah,
So there are times when you just need to get away because the role play itself is too intense. Like you can't handle your own personal emotions or you're getting too attached to your character and need a break.
yeah.
Then there's also burnout, which is the biggest
Ooh,
killer of role play when you've role played too damn much and then you need a break. And it's always sad when it happens, but a lot
yeah,
of people do get recharged by it. And it's really important to respect streamers that need it.
yeah.
Role
I've
play
always
is
tried
too
my
damn hard.
yeah. I've always
Hmm.
tried to, do my best to like prevent burnout by not pulling the long hours that people do. Like I try to cap myself at
Yeah.
like
True.
3 hours on the server and then I'm like, okay, I'm good. I don't need to be here for 8 hours of
Yeah.
every day. I
Yeah.
That's why I like to set myself those limits because otherwise I feel like I would just be, totally addicted and, not
Like
doing the other things that I like to do.
I
Long
totally
hours.
I
Yeah.
can't stay on the server for like 15-hour
Yeah, no,
days. You
no,
know,
I couldn't.
I like it
I
just
think the
I
longest I've
wouldn't
done is 6
yeah.
hours, and I was like, "Oh, I'm dead."
I think the longest I've done is 11, which
Oh.
was recent.
Oh. Actually, now
Um,
that I'm thinking about it, there were times it was back in Casey in the prison where I was, like, on for, like, a super long amount of time because I was having the really interesting role play, but it was right in the middle of finals time for me, so I was like, "Oh god, I really wanna keep role playing, but also I need to study."
Yeah. My fun thing is when I like during the day if I have nothing going on at work, I might hop onto the server and like,
Oh,
do stuff. Uh
grind a
and
little.
so like I'm like I got to go do work stuff now and it's kind of awkward.
Yeah.
I was going to say in regards to the break, yeah, doing shorter hours can be really helpful to
Yeah.
people um who especially if they, kind of know how their mindset is. I could do longer hours and I mean I have obviously played a crap ton online. In
Yeah.
fact, part of the reason I actually still have prio is because I'm always around.
Yeah.
But part of the thing about that is like even I needed a break. I took the entire month of February off. I
Ooh.
mean, and we were still fresh in this version,
Yeah.
and yeah, and I still took the month off because I just was like, I need a week off. And then after the week, I was like, nah, I need longer off. And I took it. And I'm
Yeah.
glad I did. I needed it.
Yeah, it's good to let yourself breathe, I think.
Oh yeah.
Uh,
yeah, I've gotten to kind of the point to where it's just like I don't really it, like this, I didn't role play much at all this week. I
yeah.
came around on Saturday, and that was the first time I'd really been around the entire week.
Yeah.
Like I've gotten to a point where it's just like I think I'm good.
Yeah.
On a
Yeah.
lot of things, it's
It
just like
yeah.
it's more or less it's a thing that I enjoy doing. I still enjoy doing it. I wouldn't be doing it if I didn't enjoy doing it. But like I don't need to do it. If
Yeah.
that I don't have it like kind of control my life. I don't live there. I don't, have any sort of like I'm not married to it. So
Yeah.
like if it shut down tomorrow, I'd be like, okay. you know,
Yeah.
and then, I would just kind of, carry on really.
And then I would stalk Westy and be like, okay, we're joining this new server. And no, I'm kidding.
Yeah. God.
But yeah,
But yeah.
speaking of new servers, it's just like, yeah, like No Pixel is literally the second server I've ever played on.
Yeah.
And it's the one that I always kind of seen as the one to be on. So regardless of whether or not, uh you can probably name there's a lot of problems with No Pixel for sure, but and obviously we're not going to go into that
Yeah,
here,
obviously not.
but like at the same time it's still like to me that's the place to be, and it's like people have
Oh, yeah.
invited me to go to other servers and do other things and I'm just like, nah man, I'm good.
Yeah,
I'm
and
good. I'm good where I'm at.
yeah,
I don't need to. I honestly can't do multiple RP things
yeah.
at the same time too. So it's just like, it's a balancing issue, and it's also just like I don't
Yeah.
really care about whatever that server is.
Yeah. Despite all the
I'm on the
problems.
server that,
Yeah.
I want to be
Yeah.
on.
Despite all the problems, No Pixel is home. It's where, the people you know are your friends, your the
Yeah.
people you've been role playing with for years and years at this point that you just it's not something you ever want to like leave behind.
Yeah, and even though we don't know each other IRL or anything like that, like these people have become my friends during this
Yeah.
time. We might not know each other personally. We might not be at each other's kids' bat mitzvahs or anything. But I know that like if I just need to chat for a little bit, I could probably DM Carby and we can talk.
Yeah.
And she'll be a good ear and vice versa.
Yeah. It's that's what's driving me to actually go to TwitchCon this year. Finally, is like I want to meet these people. I want to, just be in the same room as them because like they're my friends.
God, I wish I could go to TwitchCon this
Yeah.
year. I just can't
Yeah.
afford it anymore.
Yeah, that sucks. I was like do you get like a discount as a partnered streamer?
Maybe I probably not much, if
Yeah.
anything. I've never checked actually, to be
Huh.
honest,
Yeah. But yeah.
because I never gone to TwitchCon before.
Yeah, but I was like, okay, in the past years, I was like, TwitchCon, it's not for me. But now I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna do it. Get an Airbnb with other people, go there for a week, and just have fun.
Yeah, I'm not sure if the clowns are doing it again this year because
Oh,
at least one of them was saying we can talk about it online, but I
yeah.
know at least one of them was saying they're not going to TwitchCon this year.
Oh,
But
I
yeah.
hope to see more. I hope to see some people I know there.
Oh yeah, there's always going to be
Yeah,
GTA RPers, and especially from the new side of 4.0, people who have never been a GTA
yeah,
RP, before this year. They're going to want to go and meet their friends that they
yeah.
just made. Yeah.
So, uh, it's gonna be fun.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I think imagine P goes and no one shows up. What the heck? No
Yeah.
one
No,
shows up.
no one
Yep.
at all. There's no one at
Yep.
TwitchCon. You were literally the only one walking around with empty booths. Oh my God, that sounds like a backrooms level.
Yeah, that would be horrific. I'd be like, "Oh man, I guess no one wanted to be here."
Actually, I'm gonna Google that backrooms convention.
Oh god.
Hold on, I'm like convention level. Like, there's got to be a room that's a convention.
Yeah. God.
If not, there needs to be one.
Like, man, no one showed up. No one.
Mm.
Uh,
It's like the SCP of the never-ending IKEA.
oh god.
Yeah, that's a fun one.
Yeah.
I love that kind of crap.
I'm
Back rooms and SCPs and stuff.
nice. I've never been that into the horror stuff, but
Me either, but something about it, just like those concepts, because I know 100% they're not real, so I'm not
yeah.
concerned about it. Yeah. I don't know. Something really cool about like glitching through life or being random monsters that make no damn sense. Like SCP is like where the creative people go.
Yeah.
Holy crap. Some of the
Yeah.
ideas that you get, like, God. All
Yeah, it's great.
right, sorry, back to roleplay.
I mean, we could talk about whatever we want. It doesn't have to be roleplay, but
Yeah. Well,
that's
did
where we get
anyone
the
have
most stuff.
questions? Do you have any more left?
Someone said, "How was your experience running the pizza place in 3.0?" Was that Maldini's?
Maldini's.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, it was after the work. Okay, so the base work at Maldini's was already done before I even got there because Maggie, played by the oh shit, what's her player's name again? I can't remember off the top of my head. Anyways, but Maggie Guns player, amazing role player. Have a lot of fun with her. She had that place going like a gem. And when Burger Shot got closed down in like January of 2022, I didn't know what to do, and I didn't even know Maggie at the time. And Maggie invited Ursula to basically become a manager at Maldini's, sight unseen,
Hmm.
just because of her reputation. And that was one of the nicest things. So I came into Maldini's, everything was already pretty much set. So working there was fun. It was a little more boring than Burger Shot, though.
Burger Shot was
Maldini's was a
always where the crazy people went.
yeah, yeah. And when I stopped streaming for a while, like in 2023, it was because you were like Ugh, do people really want to watch me standing at Maldini's doing nothing for like 2
Yeah.
hours before someone walks in? So that was the downside of it.
Yeah, it's the rough part. That's why
Yeah.
I'm always like, I guess, ADHD about like I just don't want to sit in one place. I want to be doing something, which is why actually doing
Mhm.
EMS was super fun for me.
That makes sense. Yeah.
I wanted to be out there, be kind of interactive.
Yeah. I
And
like that.
yeah, it's I feel like it's also one of my downfalls is that I struggle to like I'm constantly having to come up with ideas like get something interesting sitting at the counter whereas yeah. I don't think don't think I could do that. The ADHD would be like too hard. Oh, Nick says, "What's everyone's thought about the current server grind set?" That dovetails into this nicely.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like we have a lot to say about that. Maybe
Okay.
not much we want to actually say.
I
No,
mean, I think
I
it's
can talk about
better
aspects
than.
and
Yeah.
I
Ken
think
go
it's
ahead.
better than it was,
Ken.
but
Yeah. Ken.
West, go
oh,
ahead.
okay.
Ursula, go ahead.
Honestly, okay, sorry, funny side
Yeah.
story just related to that. So, years ago, okay, so I had a character in Vampire I actually named Ursula. That's where I kind of
Oh.
stole this name from. And I was playing like a Malkavian, basically a crazy person, vampire. And I was at Tower Records in Schaumburg, Illinois. Anyone local knows what that is, old enough knows what that is. And I just out of nowhere turn and somebody shouts Ursula. And I turned around and it was some of my players from the game that didn't know my real name and only knew me as Ursula. So I
Uh,
actually respond to that even now.
yeah, I mean, it's I feel like if anyone was like Joanna, I would be like, "Yeah, yeah, what?" It's just it becomes
Exactly.
your name in a
Okay.
way.
Sorry. Back to the original grinding
Yeah.
question.
So, yeah, grinding.
I hate it.
Yep. Yep. Hate it.
I mean, okay. So the thing is that there's my take is actually a bit more nuanced though than you might think. Like it's like I think that some people kind of miss maybe the reason why there is such a grind like on there. And it's because it's kind of like a storyline in the sense that this is a city recovering from a major financial collapse because
Hmm.
of a war. So in that sense, it kind of like the whole like idea of the grind being kind of built into like the world. You know, I mean, it makes sense that there's people always working and always working the grind because they need money to survive or things like that. Like
Yeah.
there's certain levels and themes to explore there. I think that are kind of interesting, and then there's also just like the fact that like with the grind, like how do I explain this exactly? Like it's uh like I lost my train of thought. I had a point and now I lost the point. Uh but
Grinding
like
sucks.
I
That's
think
the
there are
point.
some people that are like taking it maybe
Yeah. Too far?
too far in terms of like well, not even talking about taking it too far in terms of like grinding, but like criticizing it too much because
Hmm.
it's there, but like it
Yeah.
makes sense to be there because again, it's like there's the way in which the server was set up was obviously for 4.0. I think I'm getting back to the original point now.
Yeah.
It was there to prevent people from getting like millions of dollars like
Yeah.
immediately, which was I think was a big problem in 3.0. It's just the fact that people could get millions upon millions of dollars and it broke the economy
Yeah.
very I don't want to say quickly, but it happened, to a point to where everybody was just like super rich and it was just like, well, fuck me if I want to try and buy a place or whatever to go live or whatever.
Yeah.
As we're in 4.0, I feel like, the grind in a sense is actually kind of better than it was in 3.0 in the
Hmm.
sense that, like again, there's a lot of things that are preventing people from making millions upon millions of dollars like immediately. So like the way I kind of see it is that, people are able to kind of stay more grounded because of the way it's set up. And I mean, I guess because of that, it makes people obviously super, super grindy because they have to
Yeah.
keep working extra, extra hard to get it. So from like a storytelling perspective and a logical perspective, I understand why it is the way that it is. So I don't criticize it as much, but that being said, I hate it. And I don't
Yeah.
like doing it, and I've never felt like I've had to work on Smiley before. So, it's kind of a double-edged sword, there. But, now that the new stuff has been fixed and is ready to go, I actually feel like, okay, I actually kind of enjoy this grind. So, it depends on what it is. Like some people, might enjoy it, and then maybe there'll be some other people that are, just doing it just to do it because, the whole quote unquote grinder thing mentality from
Yeah.
3.0. But I mean, I I think there's a lot of nuance in the
Hmm.
discussion, and I think that
Yeah.
some people unfairly criticize it, but also fairly criticize it as well.
Yeah. I never thought about it like that, but
Yeah.
I just I just like how I think it takes away from some of the more creative RP.
Oh yeah, for sure, absolutely. But like, I also kind of feel like it's kind of like, well, I mean, if you're doing creative stuff still, like as an RPer, like it doesn't have to define you. Like you can figure something. I think it enables people to be more creative. I guess if that makes any sense. Like if having limitations tends to make you want to be more, try and figure out how to kind of work around it. If that makes any
Hmm.
sense. At least that's how I kind of look at it.
Interesting.
I don't know what Ori's gonna say, but
Yeah.
I'm sure it'll be the opposite of what I what
It's
I
not
said.
the opposite. It's okay, so my viewpoint on it is that there are good aspects and bad aspects of it. Um, obviously turning into a bunch of grinders that are just trying to make it to the next level and whatnot, not a good aspect. Because I do feel that a lot of the changes that have been made have been to prevent people from abusing the system
Yeah.
rather than rewarding role play.
Yeah,
Um,
that's the rough part.
yeah, because I get that. And I do understand where they're coming from because it has become a content server. And because it is a content server, we all have to recognize that some people, this is their daily job, and their daily job might be to thousands of people. And they need to be able to always provide content. Not only does it keep No Pixel up good, but it also keeps all the streamers up good, which in the long run keeps all of us up good to some
Yeah.
degree. So having grinding mechanics is actually good for that portion. The thing I do really love about the this whole grinder culture thing and the way the jobs are done is that it prevents whitelisting
Hmm.
of jobs and things that you get in the
Mhm.
game. So one of my biggest gripes in 3.0 that I never really articulated, but gatekeeping. People would own a business or own something and no one else could ever get in there.
Yeah.
Period. That was it. And so you couldn't just try to create a competing business or anything like that. Or if you wanted to really run a news network, well, you were fucked. There was only the LSBN app. If you're not liked by LSBN people, you're never getting on there.
Mm.
So it kind of limited people's role play options because it's like if I showed up like say 2022 and wanted to become a reporter, I couldn't have a rival company to LSBN. It was I either join LSBN or I don't do anything
Hmm.
because I have no avenue to get my news out. Whereas they have an app and a lot more resources in their own freaking offices. So the I do like the fact so like the news now, your reputation actually determines items that you have access to. So if you are dedicated to the news, no matter whether you're going to be part of your own company or if you're, some person that for some reason had a hunch and got that, but you'll
Yeah.
get like really cool stuff. Like you're not limited by some sort of whitelist.
Yeah, that is nice. Uh,
Does that make sense?
yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
It is nice. I did dabble a little bit in the news in 3.0. I know the
Yeah.
politics there were wild.
We had a lot of fun
Ugh.
with it, though.
Yeah. I dipped out early. I was like, "Oh, this isn't for me. I don't like this." But, alright. Another question. I got a taste of the politics in Los Angeles the other day from Cantor and Etta. Ursula's usually at those meetings. How does Ori feel about the tea that is spilt there?
I
Are
am
you big on the
grateful
drama?
to my fellow role players for doing the one thing they need to do to keep roleplay and story going, which is actually say the shit that they shouldn't say at a political meeting. And the fact that they allow their characters to be dicks and say stupid shit at these meetings that should never, ever be on a camera in real life. Mwah. Thank
Yeah.
you, my fellow role players, for respecting that, because the amount of roleplay that has gotten out of people just watching the deadpan videos or checking out aspects of various city council meetings has been so good.
God.
So, yeah, the council meetings are great. I absolutely adore them. I love going to them. I think there might be one Tuesday night because they're going to have to shift schedule a bit due to Deputy Mayor being British and our treasurer is Australian. So, this is a fun schedule to kind of go with.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah, but we'll see. Things could change. You never know.
Yeah. I feel like the
But
politics
yes,
stuff is like a little bit much for me. I feel like it would be cool to like, oh, be on the city council, but also it takes hours and hours.
yeah, and you have to
It's
sit still. That's
yeah.
dedication you have to put into the server. Maybe at some point I would love to do it. I thought about doing treasure. I ran for treasure the first time, didn't get it. Etta got it. Etta pissed off so many people that she'll at least involved with that
Oh,
she'll probably never get that position again.
jeez.
Yeah, obviously in game, not out
Yeah.
of game. The player, fantastic, did a great job. I'm sure. I didn't really pay attention to what she did as treasurer. But as I understand, the position has very little power or
Yeah.
influence. So yeah. Uh, but the politics can be a lot of fun, but you have to be kind of dedicated to the overall well-being of not only the server, but also the well-being of creating plot for players. Cause
Mm,
like 90% of the shitty laws that have come out of the council have been to create role play.
yeah.
Yeah.
The only law I didn't like that came out of it was the adoption laws.
That created so much role play though.
God. But I hated them. It was so yeah.
Yeah.
I get it.
Uh,
You love the adoption law, Mick? What the heck?
the adoption law is the reason that Chatterbox basically earned
Oh
$900,000 in one
god.
day
God.
because the council dismissed his adoption fraud charges like that he paid for so he could actually have a reasonable debt to pay off in prison.
Yeah, that makes sense. They fixed
Yeah.
that? Okay.
Yeah. The adoption law was funny and did create some good role play. I mean, the downside being people who actually got serious charges off of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's
I
good
don't know.
stuff.
I always like the family bush stuff, although maybe that's just because I really like the trope of found family. That's
I
like one of my
like the
favorite
trope of
things.
found family. I hate the trope of this is my sister. Like, no, this is your really good friend who's like a sister to you. That's because like they're still family, or
Yeah.
sorry, yeah, they're still family, but I don't need to call them my stepsister, adopted sister.
Yeah, I felt like
Uh,
I almost felt like it made more sense for a cult, to kind of view each other that way, versus like everybody else. I'm just like, oh, we're the so like when people called like Kenneth like grandpa or dad, it's just like, well, he's a cultist, so
Yeah.
but
kind
God.
of
to
kind
be
of made
fair,
sense, but
this is
yeah.
not me shitting on people who enjoy that role play. I'm making that clear because I do not care if people enjoy it. I hope, or sorry, I do not care. God, how do I phrase this properly?
I do not mind if people
Yeah, I
enjoy
don't
it.
mind if people are doing that kind of role play because they're enjoying it.
Yeah.
And that's the kind of role play they like. Everyone has a kind of role play. I'm not about that life, but hey, I'm not gonna fucking shit on somebody else's enjoyment of it. I enjoy serial killer roleplay. A lot of people on the server don't.
I mean,
Yeah.
Mr. Smiley almost became like a son to character in
A
2.0.
son? What the heck?
Yeah.
I can't
From-
see that. I just
yeah, it was interesting. It was just like
Was it Tessa?
no, it was Regina Bunny. She was
Clown mom.
very close with Smiley. She was like Smiley had a lot of interesting relationships, like with
yeah.
well, first of all with Nikki, and with
Yeah, that was
Essa and with
yeah.
Regina. Like, there's like all these like people, these women in his life that he
He
have
just
like
attracts women.
yeah, that have like been like close to him in one way or another, and it was just interesting to see that happen. I guess sometimes he kind of betrays every aspect of that person's, trust to the
Oh,
point that sometimes they have to investigate 13 murders. But
yeah.
like it's just like that it did happen though almost. It was interesting.
Yeah. Man. All right, I think
Anyway, that was my story on politics.
yeah.
Politics can be a lot of fun, and God bless all of the city council people for being willing to create role play for the server.
Yeah.
I mean, for fuck's sake, the whole DOC being run by Bobby and Carmine, that has created so much good
God,
role
yeah.
play. Yeah,
All right.
love the council.
Okay, we've got one last question from the viewers, and then we can get to the questions that I wrote, which we haven't actually
Ooh.
gotten to.
Shit,
Any
we
of
haven't
them.
even got
We've been
I mean,
we just been shooting the shit,
yeah,
to
we've
be
been
honest.
shooting the
Yeah,
shit. This has been great. I've been having a ton of fun.
great.
Yeah. Someone said, "Is there RP that you would love to do but didn't fit the character? Anything like you were like dying, like, oh man, if only I could do this, but it just wouldn't fit."
it's hard to say really. Like I've never I'm sure that I've thought of it, but probably not much. I feel like everything that I have done that I've wanted to do, I guess, if that
Yeah, I
makes
don't
any
think you have a lot
sense.
of limits with Mr.
Yeah,
Smiley.
yeah. So it's not really. I don't think I've really had that issue. I'm sure. I mean, I probably have, but I can't think of it.
Yeah.
Mine would be just straight up serial killer RP. Well,
Yeah.
I was tertiarily touched by
Oh,
it.
I can think
by
of one. Never mind. You go first though.
Yeah. So I always kind of wanted to do that kind of role play, but I could never do it on Ursula because of my general rule of if I have DID, I cannot be a serial killer because I'm not gonna
Yeah.
further that stereotype. So yeah. So I
Yeah.
never got to really do the closest, and one of my most favorite scenes was actually the scene where Kenneth took Ursula to watch him like stab Posey. It was one of my favorite scenes. I still think about it like that is a great scene. And part of
Yeah.
it was because I could never freaking play it.
Oh. Yeah.
That
I mean,
taste,
Yeah.
the
that
serial
I
taste.
got
killer
a
stuff
taste.
is yeah. It would be great.
Yeah.
Like at the beginning of when I started playing Joanna and Joanna was close with Rick, I was like
Yeah.
I was like, "Oh man, it could be cool if this like delved into like him brainwashing her and making her a serial killer." I was like, "Oh man, that could be interesting." It never happened. Nothing ever panned out that way. But it's
Yeah.
something that's like, would have been cool.
Hey, we were taking applications.
Yeah, what?
I mean,
They
some
basically
people
were.
asked, some people like Kieran's player did ask, and I'm like, oh, okay.
Please brainwash me.
Yes, he did ask, and I'm just like, okay, yeah, we'll figure it out, and then it happened, and yeah.
Yeah. But it's just such good conflict, RP. Like that's one of the things is that I'm like I need to make more enemies, but my characters are too nice. Everyone loves Joanna, and I'm like, please just hate her. Please be mean.
I don't know. Kenneth doesn't really like Joanna.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah. I mean, I was a dick
He
to
was
you.
kind of mean to Joanna, or to
Yeah.
Kenneth.
Yeah, I was. Joanna did not like it just because she hates everything that has to do with the Smileys and, everything that happened with Brett. Like, she's kind of protective of Brett, and she sees Smiley as the one that fucked him over.
Because Smiley is the one that
Yeah, he
fucked him
fucked him
over.
Yeah,
over.
Smiley is the one that fucked him over.
He's the one who brainwashed Brett.
Yeah,
And then,
and
you know, and
Joanna
Kenneth's like,
knows that.
Yeah.
yeah, I did.
Yeah, so she's not gonna let that go. She's she allowed herself to be as sassy as possible.
Yeah.
Sending serial killer back to Patrick in 3.0. Yeah, I did that one on purpose. I was like, I bet Sunuck would like this. It was like, yeah,
I love Patrick.
yes, Patrick's the
I love
greatest.
Patrick.
I
I
love
need to get him
Patrick
on here.
too.
I need to get Sunuck on Snugbug at some point.
Yeah, definitely.
You know, if one of the
I
reasons why Kenneth has always messed with Patrick a little is always been out of love.
Yeah, I mean he's so easy to make fun of. He's just
well, I mean, yeah.
yeah,
I always felt bad. Like I always actually wanted to get to know Patrick better in game.
yeah,
Just the opportunity has never quite presented itself. Like we run into each other, we say hi, we know who each other are, but that's like basically the extent of our relationship in game. We've had a
Yeah.
few friendly chats and that's about it. So yeah, we just never really crossed paths. And I knew like, obviously in game that for some reason Ken was obsessed with Patrick in some weird way that he had to protect him like he's a little puppy. Ursula never quite
Patrick.
understood that, but she was like, okay, whatever. But she never really got to get to know him, and I'm really sad about that.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
just interesting because Patrick and Kenneth do go back to like 2.0 quite a bit. Like, there's always like there was a lot there
Yeah.
in 2.0 in terms of like he actually I don't Sunlock would probably have something else to say about it, but like I just like I know like Smiley was trying to like train him because he had a gun. He had problems with using guns and stuff like that, and like Smiley was trying to
Oh
help
yeah.
him overcome that a little bit. Uh, so like I think that's like current. I don't know. I think there was just something in Patrick that Kenneth was attached to, and just
Yeah.
yeah, it just like
He's Patrick, you know?
yeah,
It's just he's
yeah, he's
Patrick.
Patrick, and we love Patrick here.
Yeah. This is a Patrick appreciation channel. Who would you like to RP with but never got a chance to? Oh. I don't know. I feel like there's no one I'm like, "Oh man, I need to roleplay with this person." Like, I'm desperate. This, hmm.
Okay, I'm gonna give the one that I wish I had been there for. Because you guys know me, I am very blessed to have a character that is in a position where I get to kind of like meet everybody. And
Yeah.
so I've met the good majority or role played with the good majority of people. XQC, Saikuno, Valkyrie. I get to role play with all of them.
Yeah.
That being
Wild.
said, I never got the chance to role play with the Twitch CEO. And I really
Oh.
wanted to do that. And it was on a day that I couldn't make it for whatever reason. I wasn't
Oh,
online.
that's
Yeah.
rough.
But if you guys don't know, Zytero basically had a great scene with Clancy where it like actually like has real world stuff going on in it. It's like he's basically talking about how you get paid in Los Santos and
I
then
remember
explained that. Yeah, and then it basically explained it to him like it was the Twitch sub split, and it was so funny. You could see the moment he realized what Zai was talking about. Oh yeah, no, I think that's really good. Yeah. That took balls, so many balls to do.
God, like insane amount of.
I is so impressed. I never would have thought of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's very creative.
I
Anyway,
mean,
sorry. That's
if
the
there's
person I would want to play with because that'd be fun.
there's maybe two people. One that it could still happen a lot more, but like two people that have come to mind is like I mean Ziggy is one of them.
Yeah, Mormon
Like
bone
I
stuff.
like that's somebody who I kind of wish that I could play with more, but don't really get a chance to. Um, but the one that I really kind of wanted to explore more, and we just never were able to do it. We only occasionally were able to do it, and that was Chaotica as Vivi.
I knew you were gonna say that.
Yeah, like she was somebody who like I like there was a lot of opportunities for Smiley and Vivi to be, to hang out more. It just, for one reason or another, it just didn't, it didn't pan out very much. And, whether it was IRL issues or, just like the fact that the RP kind of changed or whatever. And like, I do wish that we could have been able to kind of build that relationship up more,
Yeah.
because it was great. Because the stuff that we did do together was great,
Mhm.
in my opinion, and like I just wish we could have explored that more,
Yeah.
especially considering what they both,
Yeah,
know
what they
about
both
somebody.
yeah.
And it
Yeah,
was just,
yeah. They both had that
yeah,
connection.
yeah,
Yeah.
There is a
yeah.
person who is just laying on their horn outside.
I don't
I
hear
want
it,
to go
so
out.
Tell them to
Yeah,
stop
no,
it.
I've got a good
yeah.
mic. But oh my god.
Yeah. But yeah, I feel like the person that I would like love to interact with would be like Norman Bones, Ziggy, but like I would totally avoid that. Like there's a part that's like, oh man, I loved watching that story, like 2.0, like I was stuck to my phone watching Tessa and Norman interact. It was like the greatest. But like I couldn't see myself ever actually becoming part of that story because one, I feel like I know too much OOC. I feel like it would be awkward. And two, it just wouldn't fit like Joanna. Like it would just be weird.
Right.
I try to keep away from the supernatural stuff on Joanna.
Like, that's literally the only supernatural thing that I would
Yeah.
even consider is the Norman Bones
Yeah.
stuff.
I just think it wouldn't make sense for, a Joanna with schizophrenia who, still has trouble with like what's real and what isn't. Like encountering something supernatural would kind of break that, I think. It wouldn't make sense.
Yeah,
It,
and
it
it's
would
like
be weird.
Kenneth is like a very, staunch, like, it doesn't really come up in game, but he
Yeah.
does not believe in the supernatural.
Yeah.
So it's just like, eh, it's when it does, or when it did happen, it was like, I don't know about that,
Yeah, like
my
the
guy,
vampires, they
but
totally aren't real.
God damn the weird ass vampire plot line.
That was so
I went with it
wild.
because it was so silly, but like it would totally made no sense.
No, did not.
I just used it to mentally explain why so many injuries are healed so
Yeah.
quickly.
I mean, that does make
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah.
But
It was a fun thing with Ripley and Ursula
yeah.
giving each other blood when they go into the ER if we were together every time.
Oh, and I remember when Rick was a vampire
Oh
too for
god,
like a
yeah.
while. That was interesting. I think Kenneth actually fed him, actually gave him a little bit of his blood, if I can recall.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh,
It was
wild.
interesting. So, kind of skirted the edges there of that whole thing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
totally. Just
once
give me
you
the
said you
blood.
weren't into vampire roleplay or like the supernatural, I'm like, I am never gonna bother you with this in game. And I didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like once you know a player doesn't want that kind of RP, you know to stay away from them on that roleplay. And I like
Yeah.
that. I like knowing what someone's boundaries are or roleplay preferences are.
Yeah.
'Cause I hate forcing people into stuff they won't enjoy.
To answer that question, that because actually I did have like an answer to that question you asked about like what RP would you like want to
Yeah.
do.
Oh
I
yeah,
don't
yeah,
know.
yeah.
I don't know if it's really RP I've ever. Okay, so I'm of two minds. Like, so like I guess pretty much any RP that's for the government, like,
Mm.
it's kind of like, I don't think I would be capable, honestly, of doing cop RP or EMS RP or anything like that. I think maybe
Mm.
the idea would be kind of interesting to explore, maybe, but like I'm like, when I see other people doing it, like I'm like, yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of work that people are doing to make this work, and it's just like I don't think I could do it like at all.
Yeah.
Just cop and EMS and doctor, maybe doctor stuff,
I mean,
maybe
EMS
doctor
wasn't that
stuff,
hard.
You
but
could
like,
join Alexander Rex at the lovely,
yeah.
CMC.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, of
Yeah, you
course,
could
of course.
brainwash people together there.
Yay, brainwashing.
Because it's not serial killer roleplay, it's brainwashing cult RP.
Oh god.
I mean, yeah, but like pretty
Honestly,
much
that would be
any.
so much. Oh my god, I want to make a character now. The character's concept is simply I want to become a doctor so I can brainwash people and create a cult, and then I'll get killed. I'll be okay with
Yeah.
that.
God.
I want to get like so many guns and like have like kind of like the whole cult concept of the
Nice.
police standoff type thing. That'd be fun as
Oh,
a way
that
to end the
would
Grow in
be.
character.
Waco in Los
We could
Santos.
all do it together. Create
Yeah.
one-off cult characters.
Yeah. That'd be so much
It would
fun.
be.
The thing is you got to get buy-in from your fellow players to some degree so you have enough
Yeah.
people that you can actually be a cult.
Yeah, you got to get people who will go along with it.
Yeah. Time to reunite the old Smiley crew.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
I don't know, get a bunch of people to come into the city already as cultists and be like, "Hey, we're already an established group. Let's have
I
like
mean,
a
that is that's essentially what happened with the Smileys.
Yeah, I
Like,
know. That's why I
yeah,
said
that is basically
Yeah.
what happened. Like
I'm-
we already kind of had a foundation set and ready to go by the time 3.0 came around, and it
yeah.
was just kind of a lightning strike situation, or lightning in a bottle situation, and I don't think it'll ever be repeated.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, I view this as like a 5-day plot
Yeah.
tops.
Yeah, it would
Yeah,
be like a
because like
very like a week-long
because
thing.
because like especially if you get any of the bigger streamer content, you only want to make it 2 to 3 days at most because otherwise they lose interest.
Yeah.
And I think it'd be hilarious to get somebody like Mickey because he would totally roleplay the
Oh,
shit
yeah.
out of it, or like Barry Benson or something into
God.
the cult, and like
I don't know.
then
I
you have your
could
big police standoff with
yeah.
people that actually know stuff.
Yeah, I could imagine having like a compound where, you have the big final showdown with police of like,
Yeah,
a la what the heck is the place where the
I
cult
mean,
hold
isn't
up?
that basically what happened with the Lost?
kind of. But
Oh.
their cult was communism, so it doesn't qualify as a cult. Oh, geez, cats.
Cats.
They're getting into fights.
Oh.
My poor tiny girl is
Yeah.
all poofed up now.
Yeah, Waco, that's what I was thinking of.
There was no war in Sandy Shores.
There
Yeah,
was no war in
there
Sandy
was no war.
Shores.
But yeah, I think that would be really funny. We have to think about that more.
Yeah, we'd pick someplace different because we'd have to pick someplace we won't have a dev
Yeah.
like the Lost to kind of create a secure facility. You'd have to
Yeah.
like pick it like the court center or someplace where you got stuff. But yeah, it'd be
But
funny.
then it would be hard to like have like guns to Hmm.
That's why you brainwash somebody who has got gun connects.
Oh.
See?
Ooh.
See?
Yeah.
Yeah.
God. But I don't know if any of us here are shooters. We die immediately.
Yeah, honestly, this is the kind of thing actually I'd probably postpone like 6 months before doing.
Yeah, like the server isn't at the state right now where it would be
Yeah.
good to do.
Mm-hmm.
But hey, in 6 months' time, let's all come back.
We'll revisit this.
Yes, revisit the idea.
And you, chat, we're all here when it happens.
Yeah. All right.
All right, we're gonna get on to this interview now.
Yeah. Finally, my question.
Jesus Christ, we've been going for 2 hours.
But whenever you guys are like, "Oh, I've had enough," but
I know.
I'm having a great time right now. All right.
Good.
How did the ideas for your characters come about? I feel like we touched on that a little bit, but like, where was the real inspiration? I know where yours came from, West.
Yeah.
But were you actually like into the game, or did you just like?
No, actually. I'm somebody who kind of likes looking into lore of shit and just kind of reading up on lore, regardless of whether I actually like it. Like for a long time, I got caught up on a lot of what was going on, like the Sonic the Hedgehog lore
Oh,
for
Snug.
whatever, for whatever ungodly reason. And even though I was never a Sonic player, I just found it interesting, like because it reminded me of like, oh, I'm gonna get weeboo-y here, but like, I'm very much into Dragon Ball. So,
No, really.
like there was a lot of parallels between Sonic and
Yep.
Dragon Ball, and I just wanted to explore and learn that more. But beyond that, like, I am very much somebody who wants the lore to be preserved in
Hmm.
something. So when you have like an RP server based on a world that already exists and has like Grand Theft Auto, there's a massive universe in Grand Theft Auto that expands beyond just Grand Theft Auto. I mean, you've got Bully, you've got Manhunt, you've got Red Dead, which I mean, I think even though that's the past, I think some people have made the claim that it's in the same universe. Um, and basically, I just wanted to take like these, those elements from the actual lore of the video game and just, bring them into the server and maybe in a sense kind of like remind people who are watching or people who are playing that there is a vast universe that exists in the world that you are participating in, which is why I mean, obviously at this point I don't really care that much about what people like if people use real world cities, it's fine, obviously, but I would prefer that doesn't happen. Like I only like to refer to it in like the world itself, like Los Santos, San Andreas, or San Fierro, Las Venturas, Bulworth,
Hmm.
Carcer City. Like these are all fictional cities, and I personally I like to kind of keep it in lore and just like refer to only like the cities and stuff like that. But yeah, like that's kind of where it all came from. It just came from me wanting to build a story around stuff that actually happened in the universe, without getting too much into like the inception of Mr. Smiley himself, which you already know a lot about. I mean, unless you
Yeah.
want me to get
Yeah, but
into
I
it,
mean
because
that's
not
that's
everybody
kind of
here knows.
that was the question, What
Okay.
the inception.
I mean, I guess yeah. The inception was just like I saw a character when I was doing my lore research into building Kenneth's story, and there was literally a character called Kenneth Jesperson in Manhunt
Yeah.
who was cut from the game. And I just saw this artist, this artwork of like a guy dressed as a scarecrow, who was called Scarecrow, and I'm just
Mm.
like, you know what? I'm gonna take this. I'm gonna use it. Because it made sense because he was cut from the game, so I could build whatever lore I wanted to around him.
Hmm.
So essentially, he was a character that would have been in Manhunt had he not been cut. And I just kind of took him and just kind of used them and just kind of you know, changed some things here or added some things there. It's like he became more and more what he was supposed to be as time went on throughout the course of the RP.
Hmm.
Like the stuff with the tramp, like that was taken from Manhunt. Um like that was like an actual idea that I took from Manhunt.
Yeah. I remember
And
reading the Manhunt
yeah,
wiki
yeah,
when I was making Mabel because I was like, I just don't want to get this wrong.
yeah. Like,
Yeah.
like that's one of my. You could maybe call it a fault. You can maybe call it, dedication. But like that's one reason why I'm always like typing to people, like, hey, make sure you read all of this. like when I was giving you like some notes on things, it's just like, look at this, and this,
Yeah.
because it's just like I'm just so picky about like how lore is represented, and just like
Yeah.
I wanted to be as accurate as possible whilst also making some changes here and there because I didn't want it to be direct. Like I didn't ever want people to directly take like the main character from Manhunt, is James Earl Cash. I wouldn't want to obviously have somebody. Oh, I'm playing James Earl Cash on the server, which is. I
Yeah.
mean,
I
I
meant
can see Burn doing something like that, but like, you know, that was something I wanted to like avoid. But yeah, that's kind of the inception. It was just like, but also to go deeper, like kind of going back to when I was touching upon like anxiety and stuff like that. Like I made him literally because I was going nowhere quickly on Brian, who was meant to be my ultimate civilian character.
Hmm.
And I was just like, you know what, I want to like have fun. I'd like to have some fun on this in this video game.
Yeah.
So I just kind of came up with the idea for Smiley while I was working one day, and I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna make this crazy psycho character, and I'm just gonna fuck around for a day. And then eventually I'm just like, okay, I'm gonna give him the smiley mask. Oh, I know the lore behind this mask. I'm gonna start bringing that into the equation, and then one
Hmm.
thing led to another, and then it just it was mostly just a character that I made, because I really liked the lore from Manhunt. And B, again, as I've already touched upon, like it was just about like weaponizing my anxiety.
Hmm. Sonic is asking, what the heck was that Dragon Ball phone call from Kenneth?
Oh, right. That was. Hey, listen, that was Joshua. Joshua was just like, "Hey, I heard that Patrick is like a huge Dragon Ball fan," and then Kennan's like, is this confirmed?" And he's like, "Yeah," and so Kenneth called him. Kenneth called him to confirm what Joshua was telling him. So we just
Who
kind of
was
like,
Joshua?
that is Blunderbusses,
Oh, oh.
who played Delman Hami.
Oh, what, he's playing a new character? That's cool.
Actually, it's
It
Oh,
is
no, it's
Delvin
it is
Hami.
Delman.
Oh. Right, I believe I actually did talk with him. He told me that he was, yeah.
She
Oh.
left. Yeah, there she is.
Wait, she's gone? What the fuck?
I can't hear
Huh?
her now.
What?
Oh,
Oh,
there
there
she
you
is.
are.
No, I didn't leave. I'm here.
Oh,
That was weird.
But did I like cut out?
Yeah.
Oh.
For me you did. I don't know.
But yeah, I was saying, yeah, I did actually interact with him. For a second, I thought you were talking
Yeah.
about Joshua as Joshua Wade. I was like, he is not.
no.
Yeah.
Oh, my inspiration was Daria.
Oh,
Oh.
so it actually was Daria.
Yeah.
See, I always
I've
thought that
told
was
people
just
that
by
before.
accident. I thought that was just by
No.
accident.
No, basically when I came up with Ursula, I came up with the idea of wanting to do a writer that would want to know people's stories. That was my
Oh.
start. And then I realized I'm super sarcastic and monotone, so why don't I kind of bring up some elements of a former character of mine, Ursula, and I used her first name. And then I looked for the stupidest German last name that I could because her name was Daria Morgendorfer. So I grabbed a German last name book and said weird German last names. One of them was Leichenberg, which means pile of corpses. And I was like, that's perfect. Bam.
That was
And
great.
thus Ursula was made.
Nice.
Yep. Easy story.
Yeah. I mean, that is a pretty good one.
Yeah.
I love, basing little things off of characters.
I mean, there are no original ideas. There's only original ways of working those ideas.
Yeah.
So,
I mean,
Yeah.
Joanna is like extremely, extremely loosely taken from Sweeney Todd, the Joanna. Like, that was kind of my inspiration for the name and like a few of the little
Great
things.
bitch in Lynchburg.
Yeah,
Yeah.
God. Because I fucking love Sweeney Todd. It's like my
I
favorite
had to sing
musical.
that at some recital. It's been a while.
Yeah. But, yeah. I love like taking the little things from the characters and being like, yeah, this is mine now. All right.
Yeah.
Um,
Any other questions?
what is your favorite RP moment? Dude, so many RPers are musical theater nerds. Yeah.
Yeah, what a surprise. I'm a
Yeah.
musical theater nerd.
All right. What is your favorite RP moment
Too
so
many.
far?
I mean,
Too
too
many,
many.
yeah.
Come on. There's
I
like great
know.
moments,
I
like
know.
comedy moments, drama moments,
I guess drama.
sexy
Let's say
moments.
drama. Yeah, let's say
dramatic
dramatic.
Mm.
I'm just gonna go with the first thing that popped in my head when
Yeah.
Ursula stabbed Sidwig to death.
Oh God.
Like that was an incredibly pivotal moment of RP, and was the first thing I thought of like dramatic moments in Ursula's thing. I've had so many, but that one was a great one.
Hard to say specifically because it is a cop out to like just be like like, oh, I love all of it, but like there's a lot of like I guess there's a lot of specific like moments in terms of just like like
Anything
like
from
obviously I
RP.
love the reveal on the docks at
Oh,
Catfish
yeah.
View of Mary to Smiley. That was like definitely a highlight.
Yeah.
Then there's I mean just the whole Tramp storyline, was just something that I I I mean I loved pretty much that whole thing, and then it's like the whole ending sequence with the whole the fight what I dubbed the final manhunt
Ooh.
uh with when the cops when it was on Tessa's like last day as like a cadet, and it was just like that whole basically the whole ending to 2.0 Smiley story, like that was like a pivotal huge moment. Uh as for like maybe 3.0, like it's man, like it's there's a lot, but like
Yeah.
maybe uh well, you said dramatic though moment, right?
Yeah, but I mean, you could do whatever you want.
I mean, for a non-dramatic moment, I guess just well, no, a dramatic moment I think was probably Ursula and Kenneth's like first real like well, it wasn't even really Ken or Ursula, it was Pandora, but like
Yeah,
that
that
whole
real conversation about
yeah.
Ken.
Yeah, like that whole
That was a
thing,
good
like
scene.
after all it was like when the mask finally came off,
Oh,
after like all of the the secrets that Kenneth was keeping and and like it finally all kind of put itself on the table there between like both of them.
yeah.
And that was pretty great.
Oh,
Yeah, that was a great scene, I agree.
yeah.
Uh, I don't know, I think when it comes to Ken and Ursula, I think one of my favorite moments was when we were role playing and then we went inside and actually role played in the house for a little bit, and then we're gonna go to bed in game, and then fucking Seaside showed up in the
Oh,
house.
fucking yeah.
And we were both ready to like sign off and be done for the night because our role play was basically done. And they extended it, which was fine because it led to some like it was just a really cool moment of like, what the fuck? I hear footsteps in the house.
Yeah, all
God.
because Ursula forgot to lock the door.
Yep. You know what? I'm glad I forgot to lock the door. That was a good fucking role play thing.
Yeah. Uh,
It actually created stuff later on when I ran into JJ and he was like, "Oh, hey Ursula, how you doing?" I'm like, great." Oh, no. He was like, "Don't I know you?" And I'm like, "Yeah, you blew me up once, after stalking me in my house and then kidnapping me and putting me in." And like he was like, "Oh, sorry."
awkward.
Yeah.
Yeah. God.
Reasons to lock your door. But we
Yeah.
got good role play out of that because we had a good scene with that. I know you had some good stuff with like
Yeah.
Benji and stuff.
I once forgot to lock my door and Dundee came barging in. But the most memorable thing about that is that I was talking with my friend in real life about it, who, I was on vacation, he was there, we had some other friends who don't really know all about the roleplay stuff, and I was talking to him, I was like, yeah, so he broke into my apartment, and the other people were just looking at me like, what the fuck are you talking about? He broke into your apartment? It's just the
Oh, good
wildest thing
shit.
out of context. Oh no. Uh, yeah, my brother said he got me pizza real quick, so I'm gonna grab that and eat
Actually,
it
it
real
might be a
quick, so
good
I'll be
time to
right
end it.
back.
We've been going for 2.5 hours.
I'll go for another hour.
I need to break because I would like to role play later today. So, if did she already leave? She already
Well, I think
left.
I think she's getting pizza. Yeah. Oh well, we'll entertain you for the
Yeah, we'll do that.
for a
Well, I mean,
couple
even if you
couple
stay on,
seconds.
I'll probably head out. Trying to think of other good role play moments that were like more comedic. Like I already talked about the Bojack Horseman thing. That was pretty funny. Uh, Chuck Danger. Everything with Chuck Danger. That entire plot line. That
Oh
entire plot line was
man.
freaking stupid and hilarious because he was like the king of trying to gaslight, but Ursula's too smart to be
Hold on, let me
gaslit.
put my
Yeah.
headphones back in.
Like, sometimes I would have, like, Kenneth kind of intentionally be dumb just to
Hmm.
kinda
Yeah. Yeah,
you
me
know?
too.
Yeah.
All right, I'm back.
But it was funnier with Chuck Danger if I wasn't dumb. Like, it actually made a funnier thing that they were involved despite the fact that, like, she knew he was full of bullshit.
I'm
We
showing
were
the
talking
thumbs
about more
up.
comedic moments.
Nice.
Okay, I'm gonna say that I actually need to depart. We've been at it for 2.5 hours.
Yeah,
You two feel free to continue, but I need to sign off.
that's all right.
I would like to roleplay later.
Yeah, go
Okay,
roleplay.
I'll see you later.
Alright,
Oh,
alright.
Bye, Westy. Bye, Carby.
bye.
Goodbye. And it was just 2.
Yeah, just two. Unless Sunuk wants to join us. Sunuk, you busy? All right. What other questions did I have for the class? Uh,
Guess he's not up.
no. I guess where do you see your story going, or are you just kind of flying by the edge of your pants now?
I mean, I guess I am,
Oh,
to
we were asking if you wanted to join us, Sunuk. Ari stepped out, so but you don't have to. What were you saying?
I guess I've always kind of sort of flied by the seat of my pants in a lot of ways. Like, things have changed and morphed and evolved, like, all the time, like, I've never, for better and for worse, I've never, like, planned things out to where, oh, this is the beginning, the middle, and the end. It's been like it kind of gets to that point depending on where things are, and then I start building towards that. But, like, I mean, yeah, like, right now I am kind of in that moment where it's like, well, I mean, there's a sky here that is kind of the limit. He doesn't have any responsibilities really to anybody
Hmm.
or anything, and it's just kind of like, I'm in the chillax phase, I guess, of his story, so to speak,
Hmm.
where it's just like he kind of did everything that he wanted to do, essentially. And I find the idea of, instead of, having the story just end in the typical way where, oh, well, he's dead or he's in prison forever or whatever, like, what happens after? That's, to me, that's more interesting than just like, the, bad guy dead and that's it. I
Yeah,
like to see what about after. Nobody talks about the after. Let's explore that a little bit more. And I
interesting.
guess that's kind of where I'm at with him, in 4.0 currently. Is like, what's after?
All right,
Oh,
I'm adding
Sana,
him
can you
in.
come in? Oh,
Hello,
hell yeah!
Hello.
impromptu, getting you in
Yeah.
here. I figure you and
Oh God, I need
Mr.
to mute
West
the
have
stream.
history. Oh God, yeah. You and Mr. West have history, so feel like you would
Oh
be
yeah,
good to talk about all that stuff. Introduce
2.0
yourself to the
history.
chat.
Hello, it is me, Sana. Can I play Patrick the Son of Pixel? Is this what you wanted?
Hell yeah!
Yeah.
Patrick Dassault in the house.
How do you say last
Yeah.
name? I always said Dassault.
The L and the T are silent.
Huh.
It's just the so.
Dassault.
Isn't that where Trick Assault came from, though? Because people like.
No, that came from Nerdendi. Blame Nerdendi for that.
Oh, okay.
And then chatters started saying it in various discords and chats, and one day someone said it in game and became canon.
Oh God.
Yeah, yeah, but the origin is basically Petunia, because she's the one who started it.
That's great. So how did you guys meet in roleplay? What's the story there?
Oh, I remember actually I don't want to say vividly, but I remember seeing Patrick like on a sidewalk across from Pillbox.
Yep,
Mr.
I
Smiley
remember.
ran up to him, and then he was looking away from Mr. Smiley, and I don't remember what the conversation was. I have
Neither
the
do I.
VOD somewhere, but like he said something. Mr. Smiley said something, and then Patrick turned around and he was like, he had a Patrick kind of response to what he saw, and I think that's kind of where that's where it began, and then
Yeah,
yeah.
I think he was in his full smiley costume at that
Yeah, he
time.
was. Yeah, he
Oh god,
was.
the creepy smiley costume.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, the red coat and all. But that was also at a time where I made Patrick much dumber than he is now.
It's so much fun to make characters that are dumb.
It is until it doesn't make sense anymore.
Yeah, I mean, when I played Nikki at the start, I was like, okay, she's just gonna be really dumb because only a really dumb person would not realize that she's hanging out with a bunch of serial killers. Like
Yeah,
that was my whole reasoning. I was like, I want this to keep happening, but to do this, I need to be just the dumbest person in existence.
that's pretty much what I was doing at first. He was being pretty much oblivious to anything that was
Yeah.
happening, but
Yeah.
you can only do it for so long until it's
Yeah.
like, well, he has to learn at some point.
Yeah, otherwise it would just get repetitive, but it's just
Yeah.
something fun about it.
I mean, hey, he still gets got once in a while, even here in
Yeah.
4.0.
I
Just last night he got kidnapped.
Oh, god damn it. Why can't I get kidnapped? I want people to go after me.
Yeah, I've been kidnapped once, and I haven't really kidnapped in 4.0, but like I just like a dude came up and was just like, "Hey, you need to pay the tax or whatever for what was it? I think it was the the community."
Oh my god,
Oh
not
my
Yeah.
god.
Yeah. And then Smiley's like, "Oh, okay." And then he went to like the store, the little one of the little stores, and the dude started. It's just like it turned into like a hostage situation at the store, and then yeah. I don't
But-
even know if you could even at that point actually mechanically rob the store, but
Probably not.
it happened.
Nice.
The worst part is, I think I know exactly who you're talking about because I'm pretty sure I got
I do
held up
as
by this
well.
guy.
I think it was. Yeah, I think it's 2-bit or something.
Yep.
Did I do it two
Yeah,
times or something like that?
2-bit, yeah.
2 times. Yeah,
Two-
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
I
met
just
him
ran from
pretty
the
early on in 4.0.
yeah, I just ran from the hospital one day to get a supply of donuts from the convenience store, and he's like, "What are you doing in the south side? You should not be here." And like, everything is here.
The South Side is the most populous place.
What do you mean I should not be here on your turf? Everything is here. What are you gonna do? Are you gonna go to the hospital and charge the doctors? Or go to the city hall and charge the judges? Actually, that would go well.
That's what I found so interesting though too about 4.0 is that like it's just interesting that everything is like there in the South Side now.
We
So it's like
gentrified
I
the
wish it
South
wasn't.
Side.
yeah.
I wish it wasn't because holy shit, my head.
Yeah, that's
Well, not my head, but
it hurts. It hurts mine as well.
like it reminds me of the old 2.0 days where I had my old computer and everything would just turn into a PowerPoint if I had the audacity of driving above the speed limit. It was literally a PowerPoint. And Play-Doh.
I remember the PowerPoint days.
Ah, those were the days.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had to charge the computer twice because of the pixel.
It takes a lot of energy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I feel like even now I have to probably do another upgrade just because I Southside is incredibly difficult to drive in, at least while I'm streaming.
Same. I mean, I had to literally, at the start of 4.0, I had to literally lower my texture from very high to normal, because if I kept it to very high, being in the state is not a problem. But if I stream at the same time, the stream will just say, Nah, you're asking for too much. I'm shutting myself down.
Yeah. But, I mean, part of that is just 5M. 5M is a really resource-heavy program.
Oh yeah.
It's just maybe not the best optimized.
No, it ain't.
Nope.
But it's the things we do to keep role-playing.
Yeah.
I upgraded my computer and it's been very good.
Yeah, I think I'm definitely due for another upgrade, but
I
I don't
mean,
want to.
yeah, I don't want
I
to.
don't want to.
There's no need right now. You know?
I mean, there is a need,
Well,
but I don't want to.
yeah. Just keep putting down the texture budget. Just keep on throwing it down.
Yeah. I miss being able to read the signs inside the game, but that's
Oh.
a small loss.
Yeah. I've never actually played with it on very high. I don't know. I feel like that would be too much. Alright. Actually, Sunak, this is one I asked
Yes.
earlier, but how did you get into NoPixel and start RPing?
Oh wait, that's
It's my favorite question to ask. Everyone always has such cool journeys.
oh well. I started getting to play. Well, I started as a viewer like for several years, and I started watching on YouTube Garrett Jobless. Yeah, that was the first thing I saw of roleplay.
Wow.
Yeah.
2.0,
and then
I assume?
1.0.
1.0? What the heck? You were
But
a
I only-
1.0 person.
But I didn't play on 1.0.
Well, yeah,
I started watching when it was 1.0.
Yeah, still starting watching in 1.0. That's crazy.
Yeah, I saw the transition.
Wow.
And then I found the Twitch of what's it called? Back then it was Mr. Chang, Mr. Kina, Lord Kiban.
Yeah.
And for a while, at least a year or two, I watched him, and then through him I saw Nakida's character. Tessa was basically a civilian.
Man. I
What-
wouldn't have
what
guessed
side
you
of
as a
television?
Chang Gang viewer.
I am not anymore. Back then I was okay with it, but to this day I'm kind of I moved on from that type of roleplay. That's why I'm playing a save. I saw Tessa, who was a save. I didn't fully know about the serial killer side yet.
Yeah.
Eventually, you'll see I found out before I even joined the Pixel. But I was like, wow, she's trying to play mostly a save. There needs more people like that. So I decided
Yeah.
to apply. And I was surprised to get through on the second half.
Second. Yeah, fellow second person.
Yeah, the first one was denied, but they gave me some pointers, and on the second one, I was in.
Nice.
I think it was mid or late 2.0 that I got in. October 16, 2019.
Oh, that would be mid. Because I was late. I was August 2020. But yeah, you were the before COVID times.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Crazy. When everything was normal.
Yeah. I didn't show up as much back then because, no
Yeah.
prio back then.
Do you have Prio now?
I do. I don't know
Oh.
where it came from, but I'll
You
take
deserve
it. I lost it in the wipe, and then like a few weeks into 4.0, it just came back.
Oh. I mean, good on you. You deserve it.
Actually, I think it came back on Christmas.
Hey, Christmas gift.
Christmas present. Yeah.
Yeah.
I have my suspicions on how it happened, but
Santa gave it to you.
yeah. Somebody either did a slash award on me, or a certain somebody I ran into at really odd hours because I couldn't wake up. Just did it.
All right.
But yeah.
What is your favorite RP moment, Sunak? So far.
So far,
Yeah.
that's 5 years worth of it.
Yeah, that is it's a rough question. Like maybe separate it into 2.0, 3.0, 4.0.
I think my favorite moments would be You're probably gonna hate me for this one. Whenever Patrick reveals the secret,
What?
he has told a few people.
One day I'll find out.
I'll be honest with
yeah.
you, the chance of Patrick telling someone right now are extremely
Oh.
low.
But we've become really good friends. I mean, you slipped something up by accident.
Yeah, but at this point I'm like, well, we'll go with the flow.
Yeah. Which was kind of funny that you like legitimately did not mean to slip up.
Yeah.
You mentioned not going back to prison. I was like, you've been in prison?
I don't think even Mr. West knows that.
Actually, I feel like he did know that. I don't know, maybe not, but like it was
I mean, in character, he shouldn't.
he did go to prison though. I think in because of the traffic slip up though.
Oh, you're talking about 2.0. I retconned that a long time ago.
Yeah.
Oh,
okay.
Wait, what?
Oh, okay. So
what is this retcon?
Hold on, let me. In 2.0, there was a moment where Pizzigno is in trouble and somebody wanted a ransom. And that's the one time I broke traffic law with Patrick. Unfortunately, I T-boned a cop, and one of them went flying to its death. Well, not death, but, you know, knocked out. And Ripley just went, "You're under arrest. If the cop dies, I'm charging you with murder."
The one time you speed and you T-bone a cop?
Yeah.
That's
But that was
great.
Bound to happen one day, you know.
That was 2.0, and we got at the very beginning of 3.0, we were told basically forget the grudge, forget what we want to forget. So I was like, okay, this is gone. And I changed a bit of his lore, so the 2.0 event doesn't make sense happening with the new lore that happened in 3.0.
Nice.
So I was like, and then everybody started remembering everything, and I'm like, well, fuck.
Yeah, awkward.
Thankfully, nobody ever brought it up, so I can keep it retconned.
Yeah.
And now there's literally only one person. Well, I guess two if Smiley knows about it. Who knows about this? Because everybody else has either forgotten or doesn't play on the server anymore.
Not even Tessa knows.
Tessa knows, yes.
Oh.
Well, she knew in 2.0, but that.
Yeah. I'm so sad Patrick and Tessa aren't friends anymore.
Yeah. I actually remember to do the highlight of that earlier when you were talking about the highlighting stuff.
Oh.
Because that was about to die.
Oh.
Yeah, that happened on March 14. So that's almost 2 months.
Yeah.
And that's it.
You gotta be proactive on that stuff.
Okay, correct me if I'm wrong. It was Smiley who introduced Patrick to Tessa, yeah?
I don't remember, to be honest.
I know that he made him. Didn't
He
they
gave him a
meet
better
the first
impression of
time in
her.
front of like the police station or something?
No, he already knew her. He already knew her at that time. He already knew her at that time. She's talking about the scene I'm thinking of.
Okay.
Yeah, because at that point, Tessa was already the dispatcher, at least, right?
Right. I remember like this thing where like I think that there was like an unspoken. It's like Patrick and Tessa like knew each other, but they didn't want to bring up who introduced them, because of like trauma.
The first real encounter Patrick had with Tessa, one where they actually exchanged words, is on her very first day as a dispatcher. Patrick was her first report ever.
Oh. Makes sense.
Before
Patrick is accident prone.
Before that, people were going on about the whole El Teso thing after Kick Channel tricked her or something like that. Not trick, but
the El Teso stuff. That was Kiki who framed Tessa with a bunch of drugs in her
that's
car.
what I was looking for.
And then it was Richard Dark who was like, "It's El Teso. She's a drug trafficker."
Yeah, and there was a lot of people around Patrick saying, "Hey, you see that girl? She's a dangerous drug trafficker." So he had an opinion of her that was wrong, and then I think Smiley fixed that opinion.
Oh,
Oh yeah. That was like, oh wait, was Patrick there when that happened? Like there was a dude I remember at T that was like, oh yeah, she's a drug trafficker or something, and
If
then
it
like
was just one,
Smiley like
maybe.
walked up. Yeah, Smiley walked up to him and said, "What was that now?"
Yeah, because there was this guy who came up and was like, she's selling drugs. It was
Yeah,
Jeff Waters
yeah,
doing that, I think.
yeah.
And
Oh man.
every time I would see her, someone would point her out and be like, "Hey, that's her. That's a drug trafficker."
God.
So he was like, "Okay, I'm staying away from that."
That was great.
And the worst part is, Patrick had managed to see Tessa's record before it had been removed. Like the 1 hour that she had the charge, I saw it.
What? Oh
Yeah,
my
before we were
God.
like, no, we're removing that.
Oh my God. That's amazing.
But to be honest, I personally never acknowledged it because it was more of a me being curious than Patrick wanted to be curious.
Yeah. Oh, that's so good.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
the real first time that he saw her face to face, like before they even exchanged words, is the day she made 60K at the Vanilla Unicorn.
Oh God. No.
Yeah, that did not help his his mind about the whole drug thing.
Drug trafficker, stripper.
And they're
Very
saying
different
that
view of
she's only
Tessa.
just now become a felon. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
thought she got that appealed.
Yeah,
she did. She did.
Yeah, so she's still not a criminal.
Yeah, somehow.
By the letter of the law.
By some crazy miracle, she's somehow still not a criminal,
she-
even after all of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, she
Wild.
did do it though, and Patrick
Oh yeah,
knows.
she did.
Patrick knows that she did do it.
Yeah. Ruin
I
the
don't know if the
friendship.
others know that Patrick knows
Wait,
Yeah.
that Patrick knows what?
that she did do it. I don't know if Smiley knows that Patrick knows.
Wait, about the
Probably not.
drug trafficking?
No, about this stabbing Cornwood.
Oh no, yeah, Kenneth knows. Yeah, he.
But does he know that Patrick knows?
Oh, he doesn't know that Patrick knows. No.
Yeah, that was the question.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No.
Yeah.
Nope.
I don't actually know much about Smiley and Tessa's interactions in 4.0.
They've been limited mostly. It's
Yeah.
like there was one interaction just recently when they were going
Yeah.
over like the whole Cornwood situation actually, because Kenneth was curious to know, and he was like reading to her some stuff from ChatGPT,
What?
which
Oh my God.
summarized, yeah, it basically summarized the report, the really like crazy report, and
Oh,
why it was
yeah.
bad, and he was
Oh yeah,
basically
that
going
report that's on
over.
the docket.
Oh my
Yeah,
God.
yeah.
Patrick read that and is like, "What the fuck did I just read?"
Uh,
But that's a good thing you read it.
God.
But in terms of anything like serious, nothing too serious. Although it's established that like Kenneth, like he was curious about if it was actually Tessa who attacked Cornwood.
Yeah.
That
Like,
was
was it
his
Tessa or
big.
Mary?
Yeah, and he essentially wanted some confirmation on who it actually was, and
Hmm.
she said it was herself, so
Yeah.
Yeah.
or so she says.
Who knows? Bum bum.
Yeah.
That's the worst part. If Patrick had known about the whole other personality, he might have taken it more likely.
Huh.
But he doesn't know.
Yeah. I know
So
when Patrick explained it to Joanna, she was like, "Did she have a mental breakdown or something?" Because it just sounded
Yeah.
so like
he also tried to
out
not.
of character.
I don't remember if it was before or after she got charged. He told it to Joanna, but he tried to be. If it was before, he probably tried to be as vague as possible.
I think it was after.
Oh, if it was after it was public, well, there's no point in hiding it
Yeah.
anymore. Especially when there's a whole docket about it.
Yeah.
Why hide it when everybody can see it?
Yeah. Wild.
Yeah.
This isn't the Nikita show. But we all have that in common. We're all huge Nikita fans.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that is.
that's where we all came from.
You know,
Yeah.
as much as like, okay, so as much as like, you know, like I want to believe that a lot of the reason why like us have interacted with each other, a lot of us, and I would even include maybe Blunder in this too. Like, I mean, I think it's because we do share that in common, you know,
Yeah.
in a lot of
Yeah.
ways.
Because we
you
like
know.
her roleplay, we do things that are similar to that, which leads us
Yeah.
to similar circles.
So I think it definitely plays into the role play choices,
Yeah.
for sure. Like that, why we would interact with each other because we do know each other. We do kind of come from that world, so you
Yeah.
know.
You
Yeah,
got
I
similar
mean-
values, I guess.
Like
Yeah,
earlier, I
something
said
like
that I came from Garrett and Mr. K, but ultimately it was Nikita who gave me the ultimate push.
Yeah.
Well, she didn't do it, but you know, I roleplayed
Yeah.
it.
Oh my gosh, how dare you! I
Yeah.
hate Nikita, real.
Yeah. What?
How could you do this?
How could you do this? How could El Teso do this?
And like I see in character perfectly be upset with her, but out of character, I'm upset that he's upset.
Yeah, you don't want them to be fighting.
Yeah, but I had to make the reaction that I always told myself you would have the day you would find out, something like that.
Yeah. I mean, makes sense. And he used him as an alibi. Fucked up.
Yeah, that's the worst part. If it
Used
had not
him.
been for that part, he would still be upset, but maybe not as much.
Yeah.
Like he feels like she was using him as a tool, and even though
Yeah.
she apologized for it, what's done is done.
Yeah. That's why Joanna was trying to push him to be a bit more understanding. And, like, I feel like it didn't really work, but, you know, she was like, oh, but she apologized, you know, she felt bad about it. She didn't actually use you as an alibi. It was very much like Joanna not wanting to see that friendship fall apart.
Yeah, unfortunately.
I think Kenneth's advice would be like, oh, put a sock in it, Patrick. Be used. Be
Be
used.
used. Let yourself be used, Patrick.
Let yourself be used.
Yeah.
I mean, he's Patrick. He's easy to use.
Hey, all she had to do is not confess.
Yeah. But then, I mean, when it got put in the docket, would Patrick still believe her?
Depends on what she tells. If she kept on lying and saying that did not happen, I got framed or something, he probably would have believed her.
God damn.
I mean, hey, she's someone he's looked up to for like what, 4 years? He worked for her for the driving school for the entirety of 3.0.
Yeah.
Basically ran the driving school for her. Let's be honest, yeah. I mean, hey, the amount of times I got asked if I owned it.
You were the driving school.
Oh, I remember. Oh man, now I'm just kind of remembering that Kenneth was a fucking driving instructor. You know, I always
Wait, he
forget that.
was?
Yeah,
In
Oh, yeah, he
2.0.
was.
yeah, in 2.0.
Ugh.
It was.
Why did she
I
let
mean, it
him
was
do
for-
that?
What's that?
Why did she let him do that?
You know, he actually it was because of Mary. Because like that conversation, I remember like when one of the conversations that Kenneth and Smiley had was at the church when she was Mary. And basically it was Smiley's idea to try and help him, you know, kind of integrate back into society a
Blunderbusses.
little bit more. So it was kind of a Mary thing. It's like Mary decided for Tessa that was going to happen, and so it happened.
Speak of the devil, blunderbusses.
Oh, hey, Blunder.
Hello.
We were talking about you.
I bet he felt
Um,
summoned.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, we were talking about the connection we all share with coming from Nikita as Nikita watchers, and then kind of ending up in similar groups. No, we did not call you dumb.
What?
God.
Oh man.
Yeah,
Trauma.
we're all
Trauma in chat.
heavy Nikita watchers. Inspired by that. Is there anyone else who comes from that group? I can't.
I don't know.
I'm trying to
Honestly,
think
Well,
I
about
know
it.
that I know the player for Charlotte. I think was I don't know if she was a heavy Nikita watcher, but I know she watched Nikita.
Which one? Which Charlotte?
There's so many Charlottes.
Spade, Charlotte Spade.
I don't think she came from, because I had
Yeah,
her on this.
Charlotte the Misfit. Yeah.
Yeah, I had her on Snugbug, and I don't think she said it was exactly Nikita.
Right.
The
All
All
one
I know
player I
is
can
that
think of
apparently
is
she was apparently she had watched, I guess, some of the shit that happened with Smiley and
Yeah.
Tessa. So like I
Oh.
was like, oh okay.
Yeah.
yeah, the one player that I can think of came from Nikita is Striking, who plays Dewey.
Oh yeah, striking. Yeah, I knew we were forgetting someone.
Not around as much anymore, but there's him.
That was me, Mick. I know there was you missed striking. Yeah. It was a little star, Balto. I think he was more of a lost watcher. Now that I think about it, but I remember talking with him in like Nikita's Discord. Yeah, there are a few of us.
There he is.
Yeah, we are a different. we have a secret club, you know.
Yeah. Unspoken code,
Yes.
whatever that is.
We secretly murder people who
Yes.
talk bad about animals. That's what we do.
Yeah.
Do we do weird shit in that club? Yeah, we murder people. What?
Nope. Not here.
No, Patrick.
not-
Patrick
yeah,
has a
not
dark
Patrick.
side.
What? Excuse me, did you just say not yet?
Not yet. Yeah, not yet.
I mean, that was one of Smiley's goals, though, is that he wanted to get Patrick to embrace the darkness.
Oh,
I
that would have been
mean,
so funny, but I could never see it happening.
But yeah, there came a point
Yeah.
where Smiley's just like, yeah, I don't think that's gonna happen.
it's just
Yeah,
it's
the
not
only way that
happening.
happens is if he sees someone who wronged him really bad or somebody that he really cares about. Even if it was 5 years ago. Definitely did not bump into that person 3 or 4 days ago while hanging out with Joanna.
Oh, wait, what? Oh, it was Jacob. We bumped into Jacob.
Yeah, I heard that Jacob was around.
Yeah, I wonder what he's doing.
I don't know, but there was a reason why Patrick wanted to leave, and it was not because he was scared.
Oh, I thought he was scared.
I was going to tell
Interesting.
Joanna, but then you said something about
Oh, Sammy.
yeah, and
Ex-boyfriend of Sammy.
that's when I decided to nope.
So Smiley met Jacob once, and he didn't even know it was Jacob. It was just some guy in a mask, and that was the only interaction that they had, and it never amounted to anything because the dark web basically went under like
Oh.
immediately after.
Dark web was cool.
Yeah.
Womp womp.
Yeah.
And that was also another thing. Like again, it was one of those missed opportunities with Chaotica because it's just like, like Vivi was introducing Smiley essentially to the dark web and to Jacob, but then immediately after it just went under. So
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So yeah, he never actually met Jacob or knows who Jacob is to this day.
Well, maybe he'll be back and doing stuff.
Who knows?
You never know. We're such nerds. What the heck? We're not nerds.
What the heck?
I don't know. I'm pretty nerdy.
Yeah, Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
maybe a little
yeah,
bit, but like,
I guess I can tell. I do play D&D every Friday and Monday now.
yeah. God, with a Fabling.
Yeah,
That's the
Fabling
best.
and a bunch of ex-roosters.
Yeah. Mr. West owns it. But he's a bigger nerd than us. Well, I mean, we're all nerds about roleplay. You play D&D in a roleplay game, Inception, yeah.
I mean, that's true. That's how I started, and now
Deception.
we're still doing it on Roll20.
Yeah. That's pretty crazy.
I've never played D&D though. I mean, I've never
I mean,
been.
I had never been. I had never been interested in anything D&D related,
Well,
and
yeah, I'm
then
not really. I watched Critical Role for like a year or two, but like it didn't make me want to play it. If I'm being
I-
honest.
my training was supposed to be a one-off. Welcome to 7 months later.
Only 7 months?
Actually, 8. Make that 8 because we started in September or October of 2023.
Huh.
So it's been a while.
Cool. Yeah.
Anyway, I think we're getting a little off topic here.
Well,
Back to the
there's
pixel.
no topic. There's no
Yeah,
topic.
there's no topic here.
Oh, okay.
And we can just do whatever the heck we want.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Do you have any extra other questions though, like written?
I've got a ton. I've got like, just generic ones. Just, where do you see the future of NoPixel? Sure, you could give us a topic, Mick, as well. But yes, where do you see the future?
I guess
Oh,
it really
future.
it's very difficult to say at this stage because in the next year and a half or so, there's going to be an entirely new Grand Theft Auto game coming out.
Yeah, but it won't be on
And
PC.
oh yeah, of course, yeah, it's still going to be another
Yeah.
like 3 years before that happens. But like, but when it does happen, it's like the question is does NoPixel continue on GTA 5? Does it migrate over to GTA 6 once 6M becomes a thing? Like, there's a lot of questions here. Is GTA 6 even going to be any good? And there's a lot of variables here. There's a lot of things here. Like, if GTA 6 is it is going to be massive, obviously. But is it going to have the same level, the same staying power as GTA 5? That's the question. If it doesn't, then I think NoPixel definitely has a future, at least with GTA 5. But if it does have a future like GTA 6, or wait, yeah, if GTA 6 does have staying power, then I think NoPixel will have to make some choices here. Does it migrate
Yeah.
over to the theoretical 6M? And you basically, we're starting over from scratch with an entirely new world, entirely new characters, or maybe some of the same characters. I'm
Yeah.
sure some of the same characters will be there.
Oh,
But
yeah.
there's a ton of questions that are going to have to be answered in order to see exactly where NoPixel is going to go.
Yeah.
I don't see it going away outright. Besides maybe Rockstar just deciding, you know what, fuck this, and shutting it all
Fuck this
down.
deal.
I mean, I think they own it technically now. But
Yeah.
like I feel like there's problems that if it does go over to GTA 6, then I don't know if it's going to have the same.
Time for 6M.
Yeah. I don't know if it's going to be as successful or more successful. There's just a lot of unanswered questions. So
Yeah.
in 3 years, I see NoPixel having a lot of questions that need answers.
Yeah.
But like
We don't have the answers right now.
yeah, that's basically it. Is that we don't really know
Yeah.
where its future lies beyond GTA 5. At least
Yeah.
that's my take on it.
NoPixel 5.0 on GTA 6.
I mean, yeah, that's kind of where I think it's going to happen. I think that is probably when 5.0, like if there is a migrate, that'll be the next reset. But I mean, again, it's just like I don't know what they're going to decide. Are they just going to stay with GTA 5?
How
or are
long
they
is it
move
going
over?
to take for 6M to be made?
Yeah, yeah, like it'll take like a year. 6M will be made, and they still have to make the server. You know, and that's going to take like forever.
Assets
and there's
that's if it works on if it works all together, like maybe it won't have RP functionality.
I mean, maybe it'll already be built in. It could
Yeah,
already be built
that's what
in
I
because
was
if they
thought.
own,
Yeah, they
if they
own
if
it.
they own it, then they might already have plans.
Yeah.
And who knows if any of us will still RP when that happens.
Yeah.
Yeah, who knows?
But I mean, considering the amount of people that are relying on GTA 5, it's just like
Yeah.
what happens when that comes out? And
Yeah.
that's gonna be
It'll
be
be
a rough
weird.
time. I think that's gonna be a weird and a rough time. That's my take on it.
Hey, that's when the people who don't have prior can get in because there's no queue.
Yeah. That's funny because when I was asking the question, I was thinking like in the next year or two, but you went like 3 years in the future. Wild.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah,
You gotta
you're a
think
big
about.
thinker.
Yeah, you gotta. Well, yeah, because think about. Okay, so the game is coming out in 2025. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, the game's coming out in
Yeah.
2025, so 6M is not going to become a thing until a year later, right? Because a year later, that's when the PC version of GTA 6 will come out. Because
Yeah.
if we're staying consistent with Rockstar's release schedule, they
Yeah.
always wait a year between console and PC. So that's 2 years, and then it'll take probably about a year to build. First of all, like the 6M functionality needs to exist.
Yeah.
And I'm sure. I mean, Red M came pretty quickly after it went to PC, if I'm not mistaken.
Hmm.
I
But
have
once
no idea.
it comes into existence, then you gotta spend like a year actually building the thing.
Yeah.
So, it's so I estimate like 3 years.
Yeah, unless it gets delayed, which is entirely possible.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's bearing in mind that all goes well and stays on track,
To which, yeah.
to which
Yeah.
it will not.
God.
I mean, that game has probably been delayed internally again and again and again, and probably rebuilt from the ground up probably several
Yeah.
times.
Yeah.
So
I mean, they don't want to screw it up, so it'll probably be extremely good, and I hope it's good for roleplay, and I hope, it has that functionality. It has I would love to see more, like, customizable things, more, assets you can use to do cool stuff. That's my hope.
yeah, and unless like Rockstar just says, "Hey, we're doing our own RP servers,"
Which
then
I could see them doing that, but who
Mm.
knows?
I can imagine
But them
though that they
doing-
would go to NoPixel and be like, "Hey, do you guys want to lead this charge?"
Yeah.
Mm,
Simply
But-
because it is like essentially the biggest RP server like
Yeah.
in the
Yeah.
world,
Well, biggest English one. I think it's
biggest English one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
pretty popular in other countries. Yeah. More booba. God. Yeah. I mean,
More booba.
it is the GTA.
It's GTA, so.
All right. How do you deal with the fear of missing out on the server?
Oh god.
Yeah, that's
I
a
don't.
hard-hitting question.
Look at the length of my streams recently. That's your answer.
What, you just roleplay forever?
Basically.
Like there's a lot definitely of FOMO that comes into play depending on a lot of things. Like I said earlier, I kind of have detached myself from RP in such a way to where I've sort of, like I can live without it.
Yeah.
So, and it's kind of different now than it was maybe in 3.0 in that sense. Like in 3.0, there was some major FOMO in certain areas because it's just
Yeah.
like,
Oh, yeah.
oh man, why wasn't I there for that? I should have been there
Same.
for that. But in 4.0, it's just like I've kind of avoided having to deal with that too much. Like there are moments where I'm just like, I want to be there for this thing, but then I'm just like, it's whatever. If it happens, it happens.
Yeah. Makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But-
my FOMO in 4.0 is not as bad as it was in 3.0.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially since in 3.0 there was a lot of moments where I was like, I was at work or I was just not able to get in and I'm like, want that to be there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's even worse. It's worse for me because I have to sleep essentially by 6 o'clock in the at night because I have a job that requires me to be up in the early morning hours, so
Ugh.
I can't even do AU. So
Mm.
Yeah.
it's like yeah, it's so it's like it gets kind of
Rough.
like
It is.
I can only
I
be in the server for like 4 hours basically
yeah.
on a weekday.
It is rough juggling, a job and RP. And like being like, man, I want to be on the server when this cool thing happens, but I gotta be at work or when
Yeah.
it'll shuffle me in, I'll be like, I can't go in right now. I'm at work, so I have to go to the back of the queue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's annoying. I
Yeah,
wish
definitely.
I think Onyx implemented a thing where you could pause your place in queue, and I would love to have something like that.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Yeah, apparently you don't even open 5M to be in queue on
Yeah.
Onyx.
Which would be
Interesting.
nice because 5M takes up so much goddamn resources. I could never play
Hmm.
Fortnite while in 5M because it would like crash. Too many resources being used or whatever.
Yeah, and when I don't know if that happens to anybody else, but when I have 5M open on queue, I can't open another Steam game to play while I'm waiting in queue because it would be like, hey, this other game is open. I'm shutting it down. There goes 5M.
Yikes. Yeah. It
I think I
doesn't
was
let
gonna
you
say
open up
something.
another one? That's
Not
weird.
for me.
Oh,
Huh.
you mean 2 5M instances?
No.
No,
Oh.
like I have 5M on and I want to play another Steam game while I'm waiting in queue, and it just goes, awaiting shutdown of this game. And I'm like, what? It didn't do that before. I don't know if one of the Steam updates screwed it up recently.
Yeah, I don't it doesn't do that for me, so I feel like that's maybe something you have to look into.
Yeah. Yeah, because that's really annoying. Because I'd like to
Yeah.
be able to play games while I'm waiting in queue when I have to wait in queue.
Yeah. Well, that leads me nicely into what would you want to add to NoPixel? What's like an idea you would be like, okay, if we did this, it would be amazing.
Oh man.
That's a tough one.
Yeah, I'm given the hard hitting questions.
Yeah, I don't even know.
I mean, I guess Darth Din kind of touches on an interesting idea, as like having the ability to see, your in-game texts in real
Oh
life,
god, I feel like that would be dangerous. A whole
Like,
new meaning to the addiction.
yeah,
God.
yeah, yeah.
I mean, hey, that way you don't have an excuse to say, "Oh, I didn't see your text that you sent me while I was offline."
God, it would be. Oh, people would be a whole new level of addicted.
Actually, there it is. That's what I want. And if you get new text while offline, give us a notification so we know there's something new,
Oh yeah.
so it doesn't get missed out. Because that happens so often.
Yeah, that is annoying. But I mean, sometimes it leads to good RP. Like you miss something and then, whoop, guess you're got some new interesting thing to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. What about you, West?
Uh, I mean, I don't. I'm not sure exactly. I mean, it's a thing to add to NoPixel. Like, like there's
Oh,
there's
sorry.
like I I'm trying to think of how to word this exactly, but maybe like
I apologize in advance if you hear a purring cat.
Oh,
cat. Wait, what?
cat.
Oh no.
Oh, never mind. She's gone. She
Oh,
was.
scared her away.
Like I don't know. I think more like it's hard to think exactly. Like I don't know. I think if there was anything I wanted added to No Pixel per se, it would not be mechanical in nature. It would be more just like I guess more just philosophically I'd like certain things to change or to be added, I guess, or to be added back rather.
Mm.
It's more or less like a like
Mm.
like I'm very much somebody who wants to control the destiny of their own character, right?
Yeah.
And I'd like people to be more collaborative to the idea of, what you want to do with your own character, which is something that, No Pixel kind of like was more about back in the day, but once it started getting like much bigger, much larger, a lot more people on it, obviously that idea has sort of kind of gone away a little bit, I
Mm.
guess, to an extent to where you're kind of on your own. Like I guess just more collaboration. I guess that's the best way I can probably put it. Is more collaboration.
Interesting.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But that's a philosophical thing. That's not
Yeah.
like I don't
It's not
think that
really a
that really
mechanical
answers
thing.
your question about like what to add. Like I'm assuming you were thinking more like a
Yeah, I was
mechanically
thinking
added
more
to the server,
mechanical
but
or I don't know. Even stupid things like
like I don't even really know what you would add mechanically. Like
a way to dress someone else, like, you know, in the code
yeah.
of
I mean,
story.
hey,
Like
yeah,
mechanics.
yeah. Being able to
Yeah.
like I mean, yeah, yeah. Being able to do that and maybe give people haircuts.
Yeah.
Like,
I've actually
actually give
seen
them
that.
haircuts instead of them, like, having to, like, move over to, like, a certain level. It's like, "Oh, well, you'll be surprised by the haircut that you get."
I've actually seen that mechanic on another server.
Ooh.
Yeah. There's
On
some
Onyx, actually.
yeah, there's some things from different
Oh, a
servers that would
wig.
be
I
like,
want wigs.
"Oh, what?" I mean,
I
oh,
mean,
that you can like take off like a
Yeah,
mask?
you can take off. You can ta put
oh,
on,
that.
take off. That way I can actually finally play Kenneth with a wig.
Yeah. He's bald.
Yeah.
You made him bald. What happened to his ability to grow hair? Huh?
I mean, he has, alopecia, which is or something along to that effect, or he suspects that he has that.
Hmm.
So, yeah, yeah, and that's just he never, you know,
Was he
he
bald
just
as a
never
child?
I think he was. I think he was, yeah, like, I often when I think of Kenneth as a child, I'm always thinking of him with the black hair, but then I realize, "Oh, wait, he probably shouldn't have the black hair." Or if he did have the black hair, it was a wig even then,
Hmm.
just to maybe to fit in at school or some shit, because,
Baby
that's just
Kenneth.
yeah, yeah.
Can you imagine
Baby
little baby
Kenneth.
serial killer?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah, 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 yeah. But being able to remove and put it back on, that would be interesting.
Male pattern baldness. Like Patrick and his bald spot.
Hey, I didn't see that. Other people did not see that.
I saw it. It was there. Maybe you didn't want to believe.
I think it was just a weird character thing happening.
Yeah.
Because some saw it, some did not.
Weird.
There was one day where I woke up, I walked out of the apartment, and somebody just went, "What happened to your hair?" Because apparently they saw me completely bald when I was not.
Bald Patrick.
Yeah.
Oh man, I don't know if Smiley ever saw Bald Patrick. I think he
God.
maybe did.
I don't know. Because I know I have changed his hair a few times, even 2 and 3.0. Whenever we burned alive is when I changed the hair.
Yeah. Oh my god.
That was my excuse for getting rid of the beard and not be called Xavier anymore.
Oh, but the beard was cool. Xavier's dead anyway. That's a running joke in the chat now, is that he's dead.
Was he gone for more than 3 days?
Yeah. I'm trying to break him up with Sammy. I already have a date lined up for Sammy when Xavier's
my
out of the
God.
picture. I'm gonna set her up with Dr. Ryan Wilson.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Joanna's just a matchmaker.
Interesting. A lot of people from the prison are like working at the hospital. Like even like Amelia Waters, who was a lifer, is like a doctor now.
I
Really?
knew I
Wow.
knew that name.
Holy shit.
and Ryan Wilson was one of the DOC. So Kenneth knows quite a few some of those people that work there.
Yeah.
I knew the name
Wild.
Amelia sounded familiar. That's why.
That does make sense now that I think about it. It didn't come to mind.
Mhm.
Obviously, Patrick would not know that, but
Did Casey ever meet Ryan at the
I
prison?
don't think so.
Yeah,
You guys can't tell anyone, but I'm bringing her back soon.
I was gonna ask about that.
Mhm.
can't tell anyone.
It's
She
gonna
says
be a
on
big
stream.
secret, and I'm not gonna be doing it on stream.
Mm.
I'm gonna be recording it off stream, and then I have plans with
There's
what
definitely
exactly I'm
some
going
interesting RP that
Yes.
has been set up with that.
Yeah.
That's all I'm gonna say about that.
Wait, what? Wait, you have?
That's all I'm gonna say about that.
What?
That's
Oh.
all I'm
Uh-oh.
gonna say about that.
Oh. Okay.
All I'm saying is that the trigger can finally be pulled.
That's spoilers.
Oh. Well, that's if you know I'm around. I'm probably not gonna be advertising
right.
it.
Like, yeah, well, of course, yeah.
Yeah, but
And now they never show up at the same time.
yeah, no, I've got some good ideas. I think it's gonna be really fun. But yeah, I feel like Casey would still trust Smiley.
So, because he was nice, he was good to
Yeah,
her.
he was nice to her.
He was good to her.
I mean, she is a bit of a bitch, but
Yeah,
you
he's
know?
kind of a narcissistic asshole. So it's a match
they
made in
match.
heaven.
Yeah. God. Oh God. But yeah. Patrick stuck in the middle of two serial killers.
Wait, what?
No.
Excuse me?
I mean,
hasn't Patrick always been stuck between two serial killers? I feel like that's always been a thing.
yeah, I mean, it's Patrick.
Yeah.
That's his life.
Or at the very least, some sort of serial killer, or some sort of crazy person.
Yeah.
I mean, hey, right now he just talks to them when they speak to him.
Yeah.
Notice that he never goes to them. They always have to go to him.
But because he's Patrick, there's just something about him.
Yeah.
He's just a dude that's very fun to mess with.
I know.
A
I
certain
mean,
level. It's always, I guess, the pure characters that
Yeah.
are like the ones that or people gravitate to the most.
Yeah.
And it's just like
Yeah.
Patrick is like the most pure character, I think, honestly, in the whole
Yeah, I can't.
city.
I mean, he doesn't do
I
anything
mean-
bad. I mean, he's
Yeah, besides maybe his baggage from like the past and stuff like
Yeah.
that. Like,
Yeah.
I
for
imagine,
people in the city,
yeah.
there's a few people who are, at least as far as he knows.
But Patrick wouldn't go do a drug run, though, would he?
No, at least not knowingly.
yeah.
Mm.
And I feel like
Like
I
in
keep-
2.0, you
yeah.
probably could have tricked him into doing it.
Yeah. I keep Joanna as kind of like pure, like, very easygoing, not a lot of crime. I think at most I was like a passenger when someone was racing one time. And it like
Mm.
made me paranoid. I was like, oh my God, we're gonna get arrested. I'm gonna lose my job. But yeah.
Yeah, that's why I like Custer, because a lot of the people who actually work there and actually worked
Not
remain
Joanna.
civilians. Not Joanna.
It sucks because I had gotten hired to Roosters and I was like, okay, this is a new thing. But then I got hired to EMS like right after. I was like, well, guess this is my new life.
Yes, some of them, some of the people that Patrick hung out with, most of them, not all of them, most of them were mostly civilians.
Yeah.
One of them being a full-on civilian.
Yeah. One of them being Tessa. Bum, bum, bum.
Huh? Wait, what?
One of them being Tessa, one of the people you hung out with? Or do you
Oh,
mean at
no,
Roosters?
Yeah, I was still referring to Roosters.
Oh, okay.
Like the one that you guys were talking about relationship earlier, and while I
Yeah.
had always told myself I would never do it, I got in character pushed for it. I was like, you know what? What's the worst that can happen? I just get rejected, and he did. But I
You
went
get
for the
rejected from?
Sahi
Oh, yeah.
because
Patrick.
I saw her as the most
fucked up
pure
there.
character just like him, and I was like,
Yeah.
this is perfect. And people are pushing me towards her, so might as well give it a shot.
Yeah. It did not work well.
No, didn't work well at all.
I wonder if people can tell what I'm making now. Alright, let me.
SpongeBob?
Yeah, but what kind of SpongeBob?
What kind of SpongeBob? There's mini
Wait, is it-
SpongeBobs?
Well, all right. See, I'm putting this here, and then where's?
Oh.
It's a SpongeBob popsicle.
Oh,
He's gonna have like little messed up eyes. I saw the pattern and I was like, this is the best. I need to make this. Yeah, this is what I've been making the whole time. I'm almost done. I just need to create the bottom part and then I can sew it all together. I'm glad you could tell it was SpongeBob. Oh, my neck is starting to hurt. I've been like leaned over the desk. Definitely not proper position to actually be doing stuff.
definitely not.
Yeah.
Yeah, so 3 hours, 3.5 hours talking nonsense with all of
Yeah.
us
Well, it's been a
cringe
lot of
folk,
fun.
you know.
Yeah.
Eventually,
They'll
we have
do
a
that
wall
to
of
you,
it.
you know.
Yeah, a bunch of nonsense. You guys.
Yeah.
But I mean, talking roleplay is just too much fun. You know, being
Eventually,
able
I'm gonna
to.
be here for. I've only been here for 1 hour of it.
Yeah. There's just something about talking about like your RP decisions and like the stories you've had together with other people that just you know, we just want to talk about our stories. We want to talk about the funny things that
Yeah.
happen. Like oh god. I remember one time you messaged me Sunuck because you were like watching back an old moment with Joanna and Patrick and someone was like, I ship it. He was
Oh
like,
my
I didn't
god!
expect that.
Remember that?
God. I couldn't see it. I just I don't feel like they would work well dating wise. But it is
At
funny.
least definitely not at the time. That's for sure.
Yeah, no, definitely not. But it's pretty funny.
Because
Or
back
the
then it
time
was like, it was when she caused them all sort of trouble with all serial killers.
yeah. Oh, I think that was the time I was making fun of you for having a body pillow.
Oh my god! Wait, no, that was before. That was in 4.0. You did that.
No, it was 3.0.
Was it 2.0?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, because Dewey gave him one at his birthday.
Yeah. So you had an actual body pillow and I made fun of you for it.
Yeah, listen. These two have force lord a lot of things on Patrick.
Oh god. Yep.
I think actually these two and what's his name? Faking Tubby first had a little bit of a role in that force lord.
Gotta love some good old Force lore.
Yeah, at some point I was like, okay, screw it, I'll just go along with it.
Yeah.
That girl body pillow force lore. God damn it.
Oh god. Man, feels so weird to just be showing a part of myself on stream. Showing my hands.
Oh my god.
I'm showing
Hands.
hands. I could show an elbow.
Oh my
Oh
god.
my god.
Oh my god.
Oh my
They're
god,
gonna
an
get
elbow.
these hands. They're gonna get these hands.
Yeah. Should I like paint my nails or something before I do these? I like never paint my nails, but be fun. I'm so pale. I am. I mean, I'm looking a little washed out because there's a light like right above me, so it like makes makes a lot of the things look kind of washed out. Like this this yellow color is actually like a super bright yellow, but it's like very weird here. Yeah, the overhead light. I tried to like block out the overhead light a little bit, but it didn't really work. So I just got to deal with it. Yeah. think this is the point where we're wrapping things up or winding down here.
I was about to ask. Do you have any more, Patrick? Question?
I feel like I've asked most of it. Do I have a
Alright.
diffuser on it? No. Wrap. Yep. Yeah, I need to stop hunching over my desk. Yeah, this was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was a good time.
Yeah.
Talking to you. I don't do this often. Where I
Neither do I.
yeah, like it's not that I feel like some people maybe are afraid to ask me to do things, and
I mean, sometimes when all you know of someone is as a, killer roleplay
Yeah.
character, you start to think, oh, maybe this. It sometimes bleeds over a little bit.
Yeah, and like like here's the thing though, I probably wouldn't play most video games if people invited me to play a video game. I'm like, yeah, no.
Yeah.
But like if there was like a conversation or
Yeah.
some type of hangout, I'm like, yeah.
I think I did invite you once.
Did you?
Yeah, I think for CarbyCon, I invited you to.
Oh, that.
Oh yeah. I
Yeah.
think I remember telling you like, yeah, I don't really play video games.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember that.
yeah.
Oh, yeah, I remember
like,
when we did the whole
Yeah.
Yeah.
the white rabbit thing.
Oh god, it was the best.
Yeah.
Oh,
07, the white rabbit.
07.
Oh, 07, the no
I
pixel
went to the White
version.
Rabbit on Oberon. and that
I know, I was there.
Yeah.
Hmm.
That was that was interesting.
I had to ask myself, is this Smiley disguise or is it a different character?
I would like
And
to
then I
see.
saw the transaction on my phone and I was like, oh, okay.
Well, that would also mean that he escaped from prison.
Yeah.
Oh, true.
Yeah.
Darth Din said, I would like to see the RP serial killers play Among Us. God.
Yeah,
Very weird.
I've watched
Well,
it being played, but
Yeah.
I played Among Us yesterday.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, with a few people from the server.
Oh, that's cool.
Didn't know most of them, but
Oh. Hey, they're
was fun
still
to play.
fun. I think I'd vibe with anyone on the server. We're all pretty similar in ways. I mean, we all have one thing in common, which is a love of roleplay. Or at least I hope
Yeah.
so.
RP is cringe.
Yeah, it is cringe.
Yeah, what the fuck are we doing?
Yeah, I don't know. What are we wasting our lives with? We're being other people instead of being ourselves.
That's because the roleplay character is us.
Yeah.
That is
Yeah,
secret.
we're self-inserting.
Yeah.
It's been true all
Yeah.
along.
Yeah. You heard it
I
here
mean-
first.
I mean, for me, I feel like there's a part of me that sometimes is a self-insert.
That's what we were talking about earlier too. Is that inevitably your character becomes more you over time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, whenever you talk about stuff that you do,
Yeah, in real life.
quote unquote,
it's
out
just-
of town, and you reply as if it was
Yeah.
the character. That's
Yeah.
Like you can only really play a character for so long, before
Yeah.
it starts to kind of.
like when
Like,
somebody asks you about Dragon Ball.
Yeah, because
Yeah,
apparently Ken just watched Dragon Ball at some point.
Yeah. Well, that's
I gotta
actually,
say,
that's
the
actually something
timing
I
of
wanted
the
to
phone
touch
call
upon.
was very. That I
That's what
thought you were
wanted to touch
watching me from
upon.
somewhere because the timing
Yeah.
of that phone call was something.
Was-
Considering where Patrick was.
When did Mr. Smiley watch Dragon Ball?
So I have it as actually as part of his lore that he was
Wait,
meant
what?
to be. No. This is actually from the beginning, just to kind of cover my bases. Essentially, like he was exposed to pop culture because of where he was and because of what he had to do. He had to make movies and shit. So essentially, his adoptive father had him become aware of pop culture and had him watch things and learn what people were interested in, and that included like hours of TV shows and hours of movies, and Dragon Ball happened to be one of those things, and yeah, it's like it's essentially was made to watch these things and learn these things just so he was on the pulse of pop culture.
Oh my god.
Nice.
And that was basically kind of a way to, to make it to where if it were to come up, I could talk about these things,
Yeah.
Yeah, the phone call came at a very interesting time.
Oh, I think I know. I think I know too.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah, sure.
wasn't it like when he was driving up to see Tessa?
Yeah, I had just arrived at the prison
Oh,
when
no.
I see Kenneth Jesperson on my phone, and I'm like, okay. Like, and it was 10 minutes after Joshua called him too.
Oh god.
Yeah, and it was Joshua was the one who like brought up the whole Dragon Ball thing of, oh yeah, do you know that Patrick likes Dragon Ball? Like
I
what?
think I haven't
Does
told him
Patrick
that.
actually like Dragon Ball?
Yes,
Well,
apparently.
I do.
Oh.
I do, so Patrick does.
Yeah.
Not as much as
Oh
Sonic.
man, we could have. Oh, imagine us talking. Imagine Smiley talking about Sonic or something.
Hey. Patrick does not have a YouTube channel about Dragon Ball, but I do. I have a whole Dragon Ball channel on YouTube
Oh my god.
Shit. Hell yeah.
where I made reenactments of the anime.
Oh no. How
And I
old
still
were
do
you?
sometimes to this day.
Oh, that's cute.
I started doing that like 10 years ago.
Wow.
Oh, he did not like that.
I may have written some Dragon Ball fan fiction back in the day.
Oh.
Yeah.
Was it good fan fiction?
No.
No, not at all.
I mean, okay. I tried to be like, oh, I can do. I think only Snug. I don't know how much you know about Dragon Ball, Kirby,
Not a
but
lot.
like, I mean, Snug might appreciate. Well, maybe he wouldn't appreciate it, but like, I was trying to do a proper sequel to Dragon Ball GT. And trying to make Dragon Ball GT better by explaining certain things away, that were kind of issues with Dragon Ball GT. And I wanted to make the actual sequel by making it more like Dragon Ball Z. But in doing so, I made my heart was in the right place. But if you read it, you'd be like, "What is this garbage?"
Listen, as long as it's not as bad as Dragon Ball Evolution.
I'm one of the few people who is not a full-on hater of Dragon Ball Evolution. I'm just saying. I that's a horrible thing I think to say, but I think that it was much like my its heart was in the right place.
Hey, I had to watch it a second time just to make the reenactment of that movie on my YouTube channel.
Oh my god. Is it reenactment of the whole thing?
As much as can be reenacted.
Oh my god.
Oh
How
my
did you
God.
reenact it? Like,
I used video games for it.
oh. Wow.
Oh, it was not
Basic-
smut.
Yeah.
No. Basically, I started it with back in the day. I started with Dragon Ball Raging Blast 2 because it did not have a story mode. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna reenact the stories from the anime and give it a story mode on YouTube. And then I started putting more and more. At first, it was just certain scenes, and we're like just fighting for fighting, and then just putting the move that the character would use. But then my help decided to not help me anymore. I became alone, so I was like, you know what? I'm gonna put more effort on my own. And I think there's one episode. It took me 2 to 3 years to make, but it's one of the most popular episodes, if not the most popular episode on my channel.
Oh,
Jesus.
that's cool.
But the episode is like 2.5 hours long.
Wow.
But separately, I usually make 5 to 10 minutes videos from that.
Oh,
I've been reenacting Dragon Ball Super lately.
that's so cool. It's always nice to hear people's hobbies outside of RP.
Yeah, it's I have few loves in life, but Dragon Ball is one of them.
Hmm.
So the DBZR, shameless plug.
Nice. All right. Well, this is a good place to wrap up then. Oh, you're actually a runner, hence the trail run. Oh,
Oh,
nice.
Future guest
Yeah,
right there.
future
yeah.
guest. All right.
You should guess, not Delmon.
All right. Is there anything you want to say to wrap up?
um,
Anything you're dying to get out there?
oh man.
Is there anything I'm getting out there?
What is real?
Hmm.
I-
Good luck ever finding out Patrick's secret.
Oh, I
yeah,
want
it's
to
probably-
know. One day I'll get you to tell me. One day.
You're gonna have to be level 99, 99, 99 and max out all the stats 99.
Well, I mean, we have become close friends, so there's a chance.
Hey,
I will admit to
listen,
that we have become closer.
the amount of hours that
How
people put into
close?
this, I think that could happen.
How close do we need to be?
I don't know. Even some people that are very close to Patrick I've never found out because they never told.
Hmm.
Well, actually, there's 8 people who know his secret right now. Petunia, Dewey, Tessa, Kiki, Scarlett, Sunhee. Who am I forgetting?
Hmm.
I feel like I'm forgetting someone.
Yeah.
Oh, Patrick's best friend, Alec.
Oh, you forgot your own best friend.
My gosh.
And Kenzie.
Uh,
That's the 8 that know Patrick's secret.
Sounds like Joshua knows.
oh.
Joshua. Well, he doesn't know the full extent of it, but he only knows something because he saw a poster in Canada when he was running.
Oh. Interesting.
Yeah, basically, if you've been in Canada during the 5 years skip, I'm sending people a little something,
Oh.
and it's up to them to decide if they saw it or not.
I would not have been there, so
That was the only chance.
darn.
Wait. So what is it? You said
Joanna
he
had
was
a secret trip to Canada that you never knew about. Haha.
No, basically, if I find out that a character has been in Canada during the 5 years time skip, I have a little thing that I made that I'm sending them OC, and
So it is possible. I don't know what it is that you would send OOC, but it is possible. I'm I'm just putting that out there because he was out and about doing work. He was doing it mostly in the United States though.
Yeah.
He
can't see
could
him
have
in
gone to
Canada.
Canada, Kenneth, at some point in the 5 years, but or somewhere nearby. So it is possible. I'm just
Would they
saying.
let him cross the country lines? I feel like.
I mean, he was doing some illegal shit with
Oh my
this
god.
this organization, so I mean, it's possible. Probably not too far outside of the lines. Probably maybe into like, I don't know. I would say North Yankton, which is like the fictional version of like Canada, essentially,
North
or at least
Yankton?
North Yankton is the I think is it's the starting city in GTA 5. So it's like
What
it's
the
I
heck?
think that is in I think that's meant to
yeah,
be in Canada.
yeah.
That's
Or
great.
it is Canada. I'm not really sure. I think it's a city in the fictional Canada or whatever. But
The prologue.
yeah. Uh, so it could have been in that area, maybe.
Un- Unless you managed to find a poster that was posted before the collapse and that was forgotten, or you saw a news article. That's the only ways.
Hmm. I see. Oh.
Because I did make a short news article about what happened in the 5 years.
Hmm.
Well, not what happened, but more like why Patrick had to leave at the very end of 3.0.
Hmm. Secrets.
Secrets.
Alright.
All right. Well, that's been a good one, guys. I'm gonna let you go now.
All right.
Bye-bye. Have a good
Okey-dokey.
one.
Bye.
Appreciate
Have a good
the
one. Thanks for having me.
conversation.
All right. That was good. Thank you guys for joining, and I'll see you later, okay? I don't really have anywhere to send you. I know someone redeemed something earlier, but no. Yay, Mr. West. So I'll just let you chill here, okay, guys? I'll see ya.